And welcome back, everybody, here to the Identity V Premier Tournament. We are in now the final day, the grand finals. After a couple weeks, almost a month worth of intense competition, we have nailed it down to 3 teams. It's Team 637 up against the chess players, and they have had a lot of matches to get here, and it's going to be a fun best of 5 rounds finals here. As always, I'm Colonel Cass. Joining me today is Grayscale. Are you excited for our final matchup?
I am very excited for this final matchup today. This is going to be the grand finale, as you've already said, and we're just here to have a good time. It's going to be great.
Yeah, definitely going to be a fun matchup, as both of these teams, they've been pretty dominant throughout the course of the competition so far, as both of them only in one occasion have either of these teams given up more than 5 points in a series. As the side of the chess players saw them on this mainstream last week, they took down Eclipse Empire 16-2 in the round of 32, Team Watt 16-2 in the 16th round, Iron Thorns 13-5 in the quarters, CNCE 13-4 in the semis. They've only given up at most 5 points in a single set, almost 2-0ing every single matchup with a ton of 8-1 rounds. As 6-3-7 in the round of 32, they beat UR Random 17-10 in what was the closest matchup either of these teams have had. Lingaguli 17-5 in the round of 16, WWW 15-3, H2O 15-3, and both of these teams are ready to go here, primed up for the finals. They have been completely dominant, but it's going to finally be time for one of these two teams to go home over the next few hours.
Yeah, today is the final deciding game. I literally warned you you're going to be carrying me today. I don't know what you're expecting from me.
Yeah, we'll give them a little bit. They're getting the coin flip going on. Chess players are going to call heads in the coin flip. Then it is, unfortunately for them, going to land on tails. So it is going to be up to 6-3-7 on if they want to pick or ban a map. Do you have any expectations? Where might we go round one?
The usual expectation is going to be like Ever Sleeping and Red Church. We could see a throw-off decision. CC versus IT did see a Darkwoods round one, actually. I was commentating for that. That was cool.
Was that fun? How was that?
That was so much fun. No, but
God.
just throwing that in there because
finals.
I would love a Darkwoods finals, dude. Are you kidding? That would be awesome. But I do also think that Darkwoods was Iron Thorn's pick, and not chess players, so we could still see the standard Eversleep, or Red Church, but you never know. This is the finals. They may want to throw all of their cards in.
And yeah, definitely. Obviously, again, we are playing a best of 5, so in theory, first to 3, I definitely would expect some even rounds. So we'll see what it is going to be. As again, we do just wait for these map selections to come through, as it does appear that is going to be the selection of banning a map for the side of the chess players. As we'll see if that is going to be what it is. A little bit of misleading word choicing, so we'll wait to everything to get sent in, as it's definitely going to be a good one. We do have our initial rosters sent in, as 637 are going to be playing Numer, 907, Honor, Spicy, and Sed in round number 1. Chess players still, I believe, waiting to send that roster, but definitely considering back to last week's semi-final, chess players were able to get multiple 3 escapes with their survivors over CNCE, and 637 winning their semi-final 15-3 as well. I definitely think we're in for some very, very high level of play here among both teams, which unsurprising considering what round we're in.
My brain went dead for a sec. No, this is going to be a very exciting set today. These teams have fought good and well to get here. It's just only a matter of time to see who will take it all, as we wait for the teams to start joining the lobby.
Yeah, now having a little bit of a dispute about making sure we get all of our rosters in and understanding the pick and ban proceedings is, again, is certainly a little bit different when it comes to these rounds. Again, there are still only going to be 3 games worth of global bans, and so in the past, while every game has gained new global bans until overtime, at which point you can't have another round, but now we only have the first 3 games on the global ban, so 9 survivors, 3 hunters will be a global ban, but get to round 4 and round 5, we can start seeing some repeat characters, so teams definitely have to consider what maps they want to go to pretty carefully throughout the series, and then obviously once they get to the later points, they are going to need to start considering pretty carefully what it is going to be for the side of character choices, as well as global bans definitely a much more important detail as compared to a best of 3.
Yeah, it's gonna be weird seeing that that global band's completely filled up today. Cause let's be real, these teams fought so hard to get here. We're going to at least a round 4. There's no way we aren't, unless one of them really decides that they want to lock in. So that'll be crazy to see. No, but I'm excited for this. This is gonna be the match of all matches for a community tournament. Both of these teams are extremely strong, and I'm really happy that I didn't have to face either one of them.
Yeah, it'll definitely be fun to see as we do finally have the chess players roster sent in. It is going to be I Eat Food, AWIW, Infamous, and Eve for the survivors, and then once again it will be Fafa hunting for them, at least to start, as we will continue forward, actually getting a little bit of progress here. Chess players are gonna ban away Hospital round 1.
Ooh, very interesting. I wonder if they asked Fafa if what map to ban for round 1, because that's usually like a hunter killer map, you know?
It's an attempt to pick Golden Cave here, so not quite going to be where we're gonna go. I would love Game 5 of finals, no, overtime of finals, and we just send him to
Golden Cave.
Why not?
Oh my god, is Golden Cave legal in tournament?
Absolutely not. No.
Okay, I was like, there's no way that map is actually legal.
Imagine losing finals because you get terror shocked on the elevator.
No, for real.
Okay, but we do have our actual selection coming in. 637 are not super surprising. They're gonna go for Ever Sleeping here.
Called it.
Yeah, it's not too surprising.
Yeah, it's the standard round 1 pick. It's a balanced map for both sides. It's good for both Goatman and Hullabaloo. Or hell, even if they want to bring out like an opera singer, she can still do really well on that map. It's just a good map for the meta, and it's just. Do you want to move up to the spectator? So that way the
Oh, am I on a team? Oh, let me reopen my game. There
Yeah.
we go. I'm on spectator now. But yeah, Ever Sleeping is definitely going to be an interesting map. Every time I see round 1 Ever Sleeping, I get pseudo PTSD back to the double round 1 Mad Eyes that I was lucky enough to watch.
I missed that. I'm so sad.
You know, we got a round 1
tournament
Mad Eyes got countered by round 1 Mad Eyes on Ever Sleeping.
The last Lulzy tournament I commentated for, somebody baited us with a Mad Eyes and then ended up going Hermit. And they like hovered so long over that Mad Eyes. It was so depressing.
Yeah, I do think it's worth noting, again, we are playing a lot of rounds. There's going to be 3 global bans, 3 player bans by the end of the series, so there is going to, unless we see a 3-0, be a lot of potential to see some of those weirder characters, I suppose, is obviously not necessarily saying some of them are weird. Again, you think of that, like, 2nd, 3rd tier, you start looking at things like Wax Artist and whatnot, and
yeah, the more niche
characters are favorable, but again, you really do have to consider stepping away from, like you mentioned, Goatman, Hula, Opera, Ivy. There's a lot of things that, well, they just won't be available later on.
Oh yeah. And I will say, a lot of the time, especially during this tournament, as soon as that Goat and that Hula are gone, people are going their specialty picks. They're not even considering Ivy or Opera. people are immediately just picking their specialties. Like, we've had round 2 gamekeepers, we've had like round 2 hermits. People are starting to go their specialties in round 2, and they're not even considering really an Ivy or an Opera. We've seen that a bunch with like some of the other teams. At least the teams that I've commentated for have gone their specialties round 2. So we may not even see an Opera or an Ivy at all during this.
Yeah, it is definitely going to be fun to see as we do get our players in the lobby again. It is going to be 637 Survivors, Numer, 907 Honor, and Spicy going up against the Chess Hunter Fafa as we need another one into the lobby, and then we will get this underway. But round 1, what do you think we're going to see on Ever Sleeping?
In terms of Hunter, Fafa has a really good Goatman, so I won't be surprised if he goes as Goatman. On the terms of Survivors, I don't know who they're going to pick. However, Fafa may target ban that forward from IE Food. We saw it last time. No, not IE Food. That's Iron Thorns. I'm not here today. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely is an interesting concept of potentially letting some of these super strong picks in early so that moving into the later portions of the game, those characters are global banned and they can't access them again. So we'll see what the ideology here for the chess players Hunter is. That is going to be the first game we have coming up here, and everybody's ready in the lobby, and we should be in the next moment. Yeah, underway. Identity V Premier Tournament Grand Finals, best of 5. Round 1, half 1, and we are here. Chess Hunter as 637 Survivors moving in here, and Perfumer gonna be our first ban of the day.
What I was trying to say earlier is Fafa is no to target ban, but that's besides the point. Perfumer is indeed the first. However, Perfumer and Professor, this is probably a go man. There's no way it's not with the Professor ban. Professor is so good against go man right now, so I have no doubt we're going to be seeing Fafa's go man. Like I mentioned earlier, we're going to see a Puppeteer hover from the side of 637, as well as Novelist.
And yeah, these
Very
definitely aren't that rising of picks. Obviously, they're definitely staying at least maybe a foot or two adjacent or away from this absolute tier 1 meta. Puppeteer, obviously very proficient into the Goatman. Novelist as well can try and buy time inside of these cages, as it is going to be a seer ban, and I'm definitely interested to see if we are maybe going to see something like an Aeroplanist or an Antiquarian as just another Goatman specific counter, or if we might move away and just try and get to a different side of the map, as it's just going to be a first officer, so a bit of rescue with the third pick.
Yeah, they could possibly bring in that Antiquarian, like you mentioned, for the last pick. But let's just see who Fafa banned last to see what the survivors pick in place of that. I do want to mention though that seer ban was quick. Fafa knew he needed to get that seer out immediately. And it's going to be a fire investigator ban. That leaves room for the Aeroplanist and the Antiquarian there. And it's going to be Psychologist, actually, which is very interesting.
Yeah, I suppose with your last pick, you do want to try and go for a pretty good character that you want to keep going back to, and they actually do step away from the Psycho, and they move over to the Magician here, so I definitely expect that we'll be seeing quite a bit of Magician today, considering the pick up here, and yeah, it is going to be. So you do on the Puppeteer, Spicy's Novelist, Honor on the First Officer, and then Numer going to be the piloting the Magician game 1. Yeah,
I looked away for 1 second, not even, and the Psychologist was a Magician now. But no, this is gonna be a very exciting comp to watch. Magician, his recent buff has just made him so incredibly strong. Magician fans are even good today. And that Magician will be available later for 637 because he's not in the global ban position. So maybe they're saving him for later.
And yeah, Mage is definitely a character who's been getting a lot of prevalence, obviously, with the buffs, as you mentioned. He has been showing up more and more and getting some really good results, and we'll see exactly what the decision is going to be here. Obviously, Magician is locked in, but few more seconds to finalize our talents for the survivors, and then we'll move over to Fafa, and we'll see what this hunter pick is going to be. Definitely interesting. Puppeteer, novelist, first officer, magician on Ever Sleeping Town. There's definitely a couple different options you can go for, but it is just going to be the goat man for Fafa.
Yeah, that professor man kind of sealed it in for me that Fafa was going to go his goat man. Because again, Professor is incredibly strong against Goatman at the moment. He's more of a niche pick against Goatman, but when you pick him, you can do some damage. So I understand Fafa's hesitance to let a Professor out on the field, and we are going to be seeing the spawn selection now kind of standard, but with, you know, over more closer to Graveyard than up at Dancing Geisha. Other than that, these are pretty standard spawns, and we're going to see Fafa spawning up in that Dancing Geisha area, going to go straight for the Puppeteer, we can only assume. But that was pretty quick. Everyone kind of knew where they needed to spawn, and again, that just shows like how strong these teams actually are with how like much they know about this game and their game knowledge and stuff like that. And I just said the same thing twice with different phrasing, but it's fine. We're doing great. We're doing great. I'm just here to be a silly little guy. It's all right.
And yeah, it is definitely interesting here. We can see the talent set up here, and it is going to be a full borrowed time setup on all four players. First Officer and Puppeteer with the Tide Turners, Windows for the Mage, and then Novelist with the Flywheel. So definitely interesting. They think that they're going to be able to do ciphers at an acceptable pace, and we'll see how they get. They have 4 borrowed times here, so everybody's going to get that healing at the end of the game, and definitely going to be a little bit dangerous for Fafa if he can't get some good tempo. And again, both of these teams are used to their survivors performing. We look back to their previous matchups, and 6-3-7 are winning 15-3, 15-3, 17-5. Chess are winning 13-4, 13-5, 16-2, 16-2. They are getting escapes. They are getting kills. So both of these teams haven't really found the most resistance in the world, but one of these teams going to end up struggling a little bit more today as we get in round 1, half 1, as chess players Goatman up against 6-3-7.
Oh, and it looks like he's just not even going straight for that Puppeteer. Looks like he's going to try and find the Novelist in Graveyard, and is going to go, or he was going to put down his first cage, but decided not to since he didn't have line of sight of that Novelist. But now sees where the Novelist is, and is going to probably put down that first cage just to sort of block off everywhere else that the Novelist could go, and is going to be a great pallet stun from Spicy there, and the cage is going to be broken, and that's 1 cage down.
Yeah, already good work by the survivor here. Again, talked about it. Just have to try and stay alive. It's a nice pallet stun again. Gonna try and take down another cage, and he's gonna get it here. This is really unfortunate for Fafa, as the resentment just now getting back up to max. So we do have 1 more cage. Hit is gonna come through onto the Novelist, but Novelist is working on this next metaphor. If he can survive for the next cage, he has another metaphor pallet stun. His Flywheel available. Might have to use it here, as Spicy is not going to take it, but there is no cage, so it is just gonna be a chip damage. So Novelist 3/4 down. Any basic attack will get him done at this point. Spicy gonna get hit by a cage here, as it will be the swap now. Novelist though can't find the stun, is gonna have to try and just outkite the Goatman in his own cages. Flywheel blink to the pallet, as nice dodge by Novelist, and it is gonna buy the Goatman blink here. But look at the ciphers. 1 is done, 1 at 90, 1 at 63, and we're just now getting our first down. So again, good work by the survivors.
Yeah, the survivors are doing a really good job just keeping up with the ciphers. Honor already here feeding Tinnitus to Fafa, forcing Fafa to stay in the area. But he doesn't know where Honor is coming from, and doesn't even see the trail, because Fafa's coming, or not Fafa, Honor's coming straight from behind those headstones. That's what they're called.
Yeah, we are going to see the cage come out here. First officer takes a chip, and then the novelist is going to get hit here by the cage as Fafa considering looking at first officer here, but he's just scaring him off with the cage raised. His novelist will go down here in a moment as Tide Turner does finally expire, and will be a pretty quick second chair, but we'll see where Fafa wants to go. He's considering a sprint toward basement, but he's just going to second back over towards this graveyard site. He wants to pressure first officer off this cipher as, again, Poseidon Watch going to come back up now as first officer. 3/4 HP, could definitely still go for this save, but might have a little bit of pressure on the backside as well as first officer hit by a cage, but it's a long trip back for the goat man as novelist is going to get rescued by the puppeteer. Second Tide Turner has been used as Yudo, going to try and help out. Novelist walks right into the goat man through the cage. Well done by Fafa, and with 4 ciphers completed overall, it is going to be the first kill here. Is wait out that Tide Turner, throw the novelist on a chair, and we will have our first kill of the series. Is at least going to deny a 4 escape here by all means, and considering detention trump card, we should be able to see at least a tie for this goat man.
Yep, there is only 1 cipher left, but it is barely just at 11. We could potentially see a really good tie from Fafa here. That was a really good play that he made onto the novelist. Doesn't actually see Yudo over there because he's hiding behind the chair. Does probably spot him out now, though, and doesn't even see that the other survivors are healing. Gonna go straight for the puppeteer here, but doesn't actually get him in the initial cage, and that's a really good Lewis from the puppeteer there. The kite is going to be extended out just a little bit longer, and yes, the survivors are doing just a really good job. They were very confident in their cipher rush, and we're only at 1 cipher with it just reaching 30, so I think that their plan to bring full borrowed time was actually worth it. And Fafa is going to teleport over to the first officer now, and the chase is now back in graveyard.
And yeah, Fafa struggling out a little bit there against the Puppeteer, as Lewis used pretty well to keep Puppeteer at only half HP, as Fafa now trying to figure out this first officer, but again, that Poseidon Watch just getting a little bit too much value here as first officer moves back over here, sitting on the pallet. Another cage goes down as first officer gonna be in a bit of danger here, gonna try and go to and from the side of this pallet, as now first officer will get caught, but the cage not quite going to get the kill here. First officer 1/4 HP, another cage nicely done as Fafa another down, but keep an eye on the ciphers here. 82 and 38, and remember, all players do have borrowed time, so they can prime this last cipher and send Magician here, and they should be able to get this last rescue. So we'll see what the decision here is. I would assume it is going to be a prime, and they are actually going to send the Puppeteer as no, they're just going to pop it. Borrowed time activated now, detention as well. So we'll see what the decision is going to be from the survivors here. 1 player on a far gate here is Goatman on a mad sprint across the map to try and catch Numer. Should be just in time. 2 cages to go on resentment, as Numer in a little bit of danger here. Again, this is going to be the Magician, as inside of a cage this detention could hurt a lot, as the wand not going to be fast enough, gets the down on the Magician. Teleport back up in 20 as a Puppeteer sprinting toward the basement here. Should get this first officer saved before half, but Mage back on a chair, and they don't have a good way to get a door open right now.
Yeah, that was... I don't think the pop really should have happened there, but I can't speak for either of these teams. They were probably just planning on selling that first officer and just letting the first officer yeah, that was a very good cage from Fafa there. Did mess it up a little bit initially, but brought it back, and now is just on the Puppeteer. A beautiful pallet stun from the Puppeteer. First officer might... Oh no, he's actually spotted out the first officer. I don't think they'll be able to get to rescue the Magician in time.
And yeah, Puppeteer's gonna have to run. Nice charge bait there by Fafa. He's gonna get the second down as Pup running over to this mage chair now, as we'll see what the decision is gonna be here. But at this point, it looks like Fafa has clutched this into what should be at least a 3 kill. But if he's able to spot out Puppeteer here, he can certainly get more as teleport comes out. Actually ends up going to the gate as opposed to the chairs. Fafa gonna turn back now, trying to figure out this Puppeteer's move, but it's definitely going to be a bit of a struggle here now for the survivors, as despite a fantastic start to the game, I again, I do think I agree that Cypher pop, maybe just a little bit of a blunder for them, and unfortunately it is going to be the chess players capitalizing on it as Fafa moving in, second player officially dead, first officer gonna be dead too soon for Puppeteer to get there, as it will be the Tinnitus popping now. It is gonna be Yudu trying to figure out where to go, maybe working on the cage on the back wall, is just hiding out here, and he is gonna get spotted there, I think, as no, Fafa didn't see him, I think, as we'll see Yudu now starting to sprint across the map. The tension is over, as we'll see the Lewis get popped here, gonna tank it up as he's gotta go for a mad sprint to the dungeon, as we'll see if he can make it, but he's stuck in this loop, and it should just be a 4K, gets the hit, and it is indeed. Fafa clutches it out for 5 points.
Brilliant job from Fafa there. That was a beautiful end game from him. Just being able to capitalize really well on that detention. Unfortunately, Magician was not able to get that door open in time. And yeah, there was just a lot of snowballing there just at the end from Fafa there. And it's, like you said, secured him the 5 points.
And yeah, definitely the start, not necessarily the start to the game that chess players were hoping for, but at the end of the match, it is certainly exactly what they wanted, as now they only need to manage a single escape, and they will be given a pretty nice advantage moving in to the rest of the set here. So definitely going to be pretty risky now, as for the side of 637, their Hunter set, definitely going to need a pretty big pop-off here on the opening round.
Yep. Yeah, both sides did extremely well there. 637 definitely had more of a control over the early game in that set, but as soon as that final cipher popped, Fafa, it's like Fafa locked in, essentially, and he was like, I gotta go. I gotta move. And he did, and he pulled it out. And that's why I like watching these finals games, because it's literally anybody's game and you don't know what's going to happen. It could look like one team has control over the match, but then the other team just turns it around, and it's so cool to watch.
And yeah, definitely worth noting already, this is joint for the second worst games, just on pure numbers for 637, as again, they had one rough at the start of the season, 17-10 against UR Randoms, then 17-5, 15-3, 15-3. They're already guaranteed at the end of the day to lose out on at least 5 points here, so we'll see if they're able to keep it stable and keep round one at a draw. But again, really solid round from the Chess Hunter is going to give them a pretty nice advantage already, as they can't lose round one anymore. They certainly, though, can still win it, and that's just going to come up to the survivors here, as we'll wait and see. We'll get everybody in the lobby, but again, Chess absolutely would love to get at least one escape here.
Sorry, I'm looking at chat at the moment. Hi chat. We haven't acknowledged you yet. Hi chat. Yeah, we're just waiting for the Hunter for 637 to hop on in. We have already got the survivors for chess players in at the moment. Yeah. I don't know who the Hunter is going to bring out. Like, not in terms of player, but in terms of character. I haven't watched this Hunter yet.
Yeah, it'll definitely be an interesting decision here, as we will see exactly what they are going to go here. Obviously, the expectation is that Goatman, if not the Hula, but it is going to be up to them at this point. You would really, really, really love to secure a 4K, so they're definitely going to be trying to figure something out here, and for Ever Sleeping, they could go a little bit riskier. There are a couple other characters who shine on this map. Wax Artist loves Ever Sleeping if they don't want to use up one of those meta hunters and save them for round two, but again, definitely would expect it to be one of those favored too.
Mad Eyes maybe, question mark? Mad Eyes also is good on Ever Sleeping, question mark?
He does.
Mad Eyes 4K maybe?
Yeah, I mean, that would definitely be exciting. Obviously, we'd end up being here for 30 minutes to finish round one, but
you know what? Worth it. It's better than Hermit.
Mad Eyes games are worth it. Clerk games are not worth 40 minutes. Mad Eyes games are worth 40 minutes. There we go.
Hermit games are not worth 5 hours. I've said it every single time I've commented our Hermit. 5-hour match. Not worth it. because it just always ends up being a Hermit 4K in the end, because the stress causes people to forget about damage share, but it's fine. It's not what we're talking about right now.
Her Hermit games are they're not worth 5 hours, I'll agree to that. They're worth 6 hours. I'd sit here for 6 minutes watching an alpha try and juggle between 2 survivors on a cipher. We'll see what it is going to be. Obviously, again, don't necessarily fully expect them to step away from that top tier here on Ever Sleeping, but is definitely a possibility, and up to how they want to try and play this pick ban phase. Is, again, not too surprised to see either of the main characters. And for the survivors, definitely can consider maybe trying to chill a little bit on their draft. There's definitely 2 big schools of thought of bring your best characters and try and get as big of an advantage as you can, or maybe consider keeping some of those meta characters for the later rounds now that you can't win this opening round.
I want to turn attention to chat really quick. Someone in chat said Leo incoming. I wish.
Holy. LM for round 1 because they misclicked and the other team makes them play it. That is possible.
Oh my god, that'd be awesome. Yeah, see, that's actually the, I was correct. Food is playing today. But I said the wrong hunter. I knew that Ford was gonna get target banned for food. For my food. I knew a target ban was coming from that. But I'm tired. I'm an eepy little boy right now. But we are going to see a psychologist pick and an antiquarian pick. Not a psychologist pick. Never mind.
They're thinking about it. They really are. Antiquarian Gravekeeper. Okay, they are sending the full meta setup here. they are bringing everything.
3 different characters. Oh my god. Yeah, it is going to be Antiquarian and Gravekeeper here. Seer and Forward ban from the Hunter, and we're gonna see a Novelist ban. Could this Hunter also be going Goatman, if I can speak?
I definitely think it's possible. We'll obviously wait and see exactly what they are going to go here, as will be on to the Puppeteer 3rd pick, of course, joined by the Novelist 3rd ban. Is not big surprises here for this composition. Could maybe see a little bit of a decoder come out on the 4th pick, but just depends on what they want to leave open. As again, Antiquarian, Grave, and Puppeteer are all going to be global banned, but this final pick not going to join that table.
Yeah, we are going to see an Arrow Clans. Maybe we could see like a Mechanic pick. And they're gonna pick Magician as well. This is definitely a Goatman countercomp right here. Maybe not that Gravekeeper, but definitely everybody else.
Yeah, we're going to exactly. What do you think here? You think it's just Goatman? Well, if it is off meta, what are you playing off meta here?
What are you playing off meta? God, I should know this as an off meta player. Honestly, you might go BQ here. Just because she's very similar to how Goatman works. So you might just go Bloody Queen here.
Yeah, we'll see
Bloody
exactly
Queen, a Disciple.
Yeah.
Bloody Queen, Disciple. You could, if you brute forced it, you could Axe Boy right here.
Ever Sleeping.
Only if you brute forced it, though.
Holy.
Hey, he's not bad on Ever Sleep. Okay, I want to get that straight. He's not that bad. It's possible.
I've seen other people win on it. Not quite Mr. Kakiri and Koa. He had a bit of stinker Axe Boy game on this map. But
we've had someone who I shall not name. We've had someone who I shall not name for very obvious reasons do really good with an Axe Boy on here on Ever Sleep.
That is a true
statement.
statement.
I will not name him.
Yeah.
That
individual did have a good Axe Boy game earlier in the tournament, but that is a problem for another day, as we are here
that
again.
That is a conversation for not here.
Yeah, as it is going to be Antiquarian, Grave, Puppeteer, and Magician, of course, for the Survivor team as they lock in their talents, and it will be Hunter on what it is going to be. It's just going to be the Goatman once again here. I
want to point out Puppeteer's build is called Merc.
Yeah.
So
Default rescue. I
that's
don't know.
borrowed time. That's borrowed tide right there. Oh wow. We're only seeing one Sui build, and it's a Sui Tide on the Antiquarian, actually.
They are shipping it in with the rescue here. They want to be able to buy as much time as they can, as again it is going to be 3 borrowed time on everybody but that Antiquarian as mentioned, Tide Turner on everybody but the Mage, and then the Mage walking around with a flywheel, Antiquarian a flywheel as well, so no windows to flywheels here, and these players are definitely not necessarily true kite by any means, but they are going to need to use their ability, and in half of their cases those flywheels, very, very well here to outplay this Goatman. Is definitely going to be an interesting game here.
I just looked to chat, and everybody was answering your question of who would work here off meta.
I think Leo would work here. That must be it. we
got an answer for BQ, Fool's Gold, and some Wheel is in the chat.
GK Mage?
Hey, apparently, according to
As
chat,
a wheel man, I'm not playing wheel here.
No. So according to chat, I could be wrong. This hunter plays Wheel.
I see.
So that's why they're saying Wheel. But I just wanted to point that out because I found that extremely funny.
I know, we saved
I love
Wheel
when
for
chat
later in
gets
this
silly
one.
like
We saved
this.
Wheel.
We save
We
Wheel
saved
for
Wheel.
round 4.
Amen. We
Or
saved
round
Wheel for
2,
Chinatown
depending
round 3.
on... Yep. Or just Chinatown in general.
But yeah, anyway, we are done with our spec delay, and we are getting ready to go. It is going to be round 1, half 2, swapping the sides as chess player survivors up against the 6-3-7 Hunter. Coming off of a successful Hunter round, chess players need a single escape to figure it out here, and we are getting things underway as the Mr. Hunter man heading into the middle of the map, and it looks like he's going to end up going for Eve's Mage here.
Yeah, the Magician is definitely who you want to be chasing first, and is immediately going to cut him off on the cage, but the Magician's immediately going to use that wand, and this is just... Oh, it's a good hit, though. That was just kind of a struggle area for the Goatman there, because there was just only a narrow space to be able to work with. That window is blocked off, so Magician cannot actually take it to get his... Is he... No, he's running flywheel. Never mind. Forget everything I was about to say. Does get the basic hit onto the Magician, so it's only going to be a chip more for him to go down. Magician does just use the wand in order to get to the corner, knowing that he's going to go down soon anyways, and it's just going to make it a struggle for the Goatman to chair, as the Goatman is going to have to walk for it, and the tram is actually blocking his way, so it'll take even longer now. Tram is the true hunter of Ever Sleeping Town. The ciphers are also pretty good this time around, 82-57, and 1 already done.
Yeah, definitely not a bad idea to go to the corner there, just buying as much time as he can, and we're gonna get a backdoor rescue here, a little bit careless as Gravekeeper, gonna get a no-hit rescue, as it will be onward now. Gravekeeper comes in, takes a hit, and it will be a little bit of stall here, but with the Tide Turner, the Goatman definitely happy giving up that hit, as we'll see Mage. Oh, it's a blink hit attempt, missed out, and Mage can potentially live this cage. Wand comes out, and he does indeed live the cage, as a massive sell there by the Goatman. Not going to be happy with that turn of events, as another cage going to come out here, going to try and get onto the Mage. Mage goes to the far side, but again, just positions himself away from these chairs, and it is going to be the next down here. Second chair for the Mage. 2 ciphers done, 1 at 95, 1 crossing half, so 3.5 ciphers done, and still only a second chair for Novelist with 2 tides up.
Yeah, a very good job from the survivors. The second cipher is at 67 now. They do not have, or they just started their final cipher. Is going to just block off the Antiquarian there, but is not actually going to be able to get a hit. This does miss the flywheel though, and his Antiquarian is no longer going to be able to get that rescue. It does seem like their next option is just going to be to sell the magician, and a good hit from the antiquarian there, really just allowing her to kite out that cage before going down, and they are at one cipher left, which is currently at 16.
And yeah, the survivors, they definitely would have liked to get the mage, but it's so risky to try and send somebody around the map, as Auntie is going to get spotted out here. Is half HP as well with no tide, so might put her, or no, borrowed time, so might just end up going out here. As we'll see the cage come out, Antiquarian stuck in, does still have some stick left, as we'll see a stick one hit. It is going to be 4 seconds delay, potentially might get a second swing here. Is just going to try and break the cage. Yeah, cage goes down, Antiquarian takes a chip here just in time, as we'll see the Goatman now another cage onto the Ante, and should just have them trapped in this alleyways. And Goatman actually going to cancel it, throws a swing out, trying to bait Anti-stick, swung into the wall, 4-second stun, and Anti transitions on over to this next pallet, and it's just going to be an abandonment by the Goatman, as really couldn't afford to take that unfortunate losses. Going up now, it is going to be the Goatman, or the Gravekeeper, going down into Shovel, but the Goatman doesn't really have a good way to catch up to him right now to break the shovels. He actually walks up into him, as we'll see it now waiting around as Gravekeeper moving on, as it is going to be back around to try and get to the Antiquarian, who was getting a little bit of healing from the Puppeteer, but he's just going to have to back away, as he really wants to attack both of these fronts, but he can't really allow the ciphers to keep getting decoded. So does spot out Dungeon in mid, is checking on all of these ciphers, but Antiquarian's going to get healed here without too much problem, and Gravekeeper still has shovels to work with.
Yeah, and it's really good that the Puppeteer is the one healing, because he can actually heal off the chip damage, but they are going to get spotted out before too much healing could actually get done in. And Antiquarian's just doing a really good job being able to avoid this goal. Oh, and send him back through the cage! That is such a funny interaction. I love that interaction so much. And he's going to just over to the Gravekeeper and going to terror shock the Gravekeeper on the basically primed cipher, but that does allow for some healing to get done. The tram is right here, not going to move, though. That would have been really funny. And Puppeteer is just going to come in for the rescue while Antiquarian heals up.
And yeah, I mean, it's an attempt, but unfortunately, he needed to get off the cipher for the hit, as again, no cage means it's not a down, as the cage gonna miss on this Puppeteer, now is gonna trap him back in. Lewis comes out, but just gonna have to try and figure this out. Resentment being absolutely burnt here, really trying to get this second half hit. Puppeteer is gonna take a hit, but gets this rescue. Tide Turner popped, as now they can just try and get back up to this cipher, as they do both have borrowed time, so they're just gonna try and figure this out. Pup gonna get on the cage break, hit comes out, just gonna get the pop now, as we need to see the cipher pop before that Puppeteer goes down, as they're gonna try and get onto it 99, and they do get it here. Antiquarian picks themselves up, Puppeteer now as well going to get that healing from the borrowed time, as now it's dangerous for the Goatman here, as again a single escape means the chess players win this round pretty heavily. As Gravekeeper, he's gonna go under the pallet, he's gonna sit and shovel, and he is going to burn as much time on this clock as possible. Other exit gate at 40%, teleport only up in 10 seconds. He can just sit here. Gravekeeper has so much shovel to burn. We can't waste this time, Goatman. You have to get something done now, or we're going to face a tie, potentially even a triple escape, as we're trying to figure it out. Teleport to the far door, 84%. Not going to get it quite open in time. There's now cage coming out. Antiquarian under a lot of pressure. Going to try and break this cage out through the pallet, but gets hit and downed. The tension in the cage going to do a little bit too much damage to tank, as Gravekeeper back on the far side door now. Puppeteer trying to rotate around it again. They just need one escape, and this other door is opening a little bit too quickly to not have teleport up.
This is completely off topic. Did they change the way detention looks?
I have no idea. Might be a fancy thing for this specifically. I don't know. This is like
but
one of the
it does seem
things.
like they've already got the one escape that they needed. Puppeteer has no more Lewis's, and it's a round win for chess players.
And yeah, they FF as the Puppeteer goes down, but again, the Puppeteer dying isn't what this Gravekeeper needed. Well, it technically is, but the Grave getting out here, the Goatman just not going to walk away victorious, is able to cut the losses pretty heavily. Of course, only letting one survivor out in standard is pretty good, but the round going to fall out of their favor here. It is going to be a 6-3 lead now for the chess players as they take round one.
Yeah, good job from the survivors there, just being able to get the one escape that was needed for the round win. The hunter was doing an incredible job though, just keeping up with everyone. But unfortunately, chess players just were 2 steps ahead at all times and were able to get that one escape that was needed.
Is definitely going to be unfortunate for the side of the 637 crew. Was again chess running away with round 1 pretty in their favor. Now again, 6-3 is by no means an unrecoverable gap at the moment, as obviously you only need to win 3 rounds. So if they are able to win 2-3-4, 3-4-5, any combination they're in, they can still pretty easily win this set. But for the chess players, both teams have burned Goatman, and both teams have burned a rescuer, a puppeteer, and a kite harasser, so they are definitely pretty happy with the state that they are in right now. Is again, not really any big losses, but they're up 6-3, as we do have a substitution. Umi gonna come in for Spicy for the side of 637.
Very interesting to see that switch coming in. They do have one more swap that they could work with in the later rounds, but we're just gonna have to wait and see what CC does. Yeah.
So we did, looking back at our opening round, Chess banned Hospital, 637 picked Ever Sleeping, and then of course Chess opted to send their Hunter first. We're gonna flip the script now. It is gonna be 637 with a ban and faction selection, and then Chess player is going to go for a map. So no Hospital, no Ever Sleeping. There will be another ban. What do you think we're gonna see banned away, and what map are we gonna head to round 2?
What map we're gonna see? I wouldn't be surprised if we see like an arms or a church. Those are pretty standard round 2 picks. I think it's gonna be round 3 where we start to see the more unusual maps start to come in, like maybe a Dark Woods, maybe a Leo's Memory, maybe a Lakeside, stuff like that, you know?
And yeah, definitely wouldn't be very surprised by just another one of these rather large maps. As again, Lakeside has definitely gotten a bit of priority in at least some of the matches I've worked with in the past. Obviously, I mentioned earlier, Chinatown, a big option. Arms Factory got played a little bit, I believe, by Chess last week, so potentially a map that they are considering bringing us back to. And again, no Hospital, no Ever Sleeping, but still a lot of maps that we can look at. Leo's, Moon River Park, all options as well. So we'll see where it is going to be, and I hope that we get Darkwoods game 2.
I would love to commentate another
We gotta
Darkwoods.
go to Darkwoods
That would be.
at some point.
We gotta go to teams. If you can hear us, Darkwoods at least once, please.
Amen. Should be round 5 required Darkwoods, or overtime required Darkwoods. Get it in the rulebook before they get there.
Darkwoods at least once.
But yeah, we'll see what it is going to be. 637 up to ban a map. Hospital and Ever Sleeping, again, both global banned for this round. So we'll wait and see what the call is going to be here, and it is going to be a church ban for 637.
Oh, so we won't be seeing church. Maybe we could be seeing arms then, or maybe they're gonna pull something wild.
Yeah, we'll wait to see what Chess want to go for. Again, they have a plethora of options, I think 5 in the legal pool, so we'll wait and see where it is they want to go here. As again, a lot of places they can go, a lot of reasons to go to any of them, including Darkwoods for fun, as we'll see where it is going to be here. As again, a lot of options. I definitely wouldn't be surprised by an Arms or a Lakeside, maybe a Chinatown, maybe a bit early for that though, so we'll give them a little bit of time to finish up that decision here and then get us locked in. But Goatman off the table for both teams. You can certainly expect another one of those top meta hunters to be banned away. Hula, Opera, definitely both 2 characters that I've seen banned quite a lot once we get to round 2. So what do you think we're going to be looking at hunter wise? Are we looking at that off meta pool, or are we staying toward the top of the bracket, you think?
Um, if they don't decide to go meta, if both teams honestly realistically ban Hullabaloo here, we could possibly see like a wax artist, a gamekeeper, a hermit. We could also potentially see like an Anne.
Okay,
Maybe?
Chinatown selected here. We're getting the wheel. Oh.
The wheel time, baby.
Yeah, so it is going to be the selection for chess. They're going to bring us to Chinatown, as 637 are going to opt to send their Hunter first here in round 2. So it is going to start out 637 Hunter trying to rebound off of what in objectivity is a good game 1, but fell short for them of what they actually needed in that opening half, or that opening round, as Hunter looking to try and secure a nice 3 or 4K once again to give their team a nice advantage going into the second half of the round. And again, we'll see how it is going to go here. 637 sending the Hunter in, and in theory, this is where we would expect that wheel.
Yeah, it is in theory where the wheel should be coming out. The global bans currently are Anti-Grave, Puppet, and that Goat Man. So we could see the wheel here. If he decides to go off meta and we don't have access to blue.
Yeah, that is definitely going to be another idea that the 637 team is going to have to decide, as well as, of course, the opposite Survivor team playing now, is you have to figure out what you want to ban here for your Hunters, especially when we get later into the series. If we do get to that round 4, and we start seeing 3 characters on the global bans, and then you start getting more and more bans in-game as well, you are definitely going to have to start considering what characters do you really need to eliminate out of the pool, as it'll be up to obviously the teams. You'll get 5 or so Hunters banned away by the end of the series, or by the midpoint there, so definitely going to be interesting to see what these pick ban phases bring us to playing as we get later in. But for the moment, shouldn't have too much constrictions. Obviously, some pretty heavy survivors. Antiquarian, Gravekeeper, Puppeteer, all very quality survivors taken off the table. Goatman, as well, the favored Hunter for both teams, taken out as the global ban, but definitely going to be a lot to work with still.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun match. I'm sorry, I'm half paying attention right now. I'm half texting Lulzy about stuff right now.
All good.
We're just figuring out chat moderator stuff. But yeah, very excited to see what's about to go down. And yeah, we're just waiting for the picks and bans to start.
Yeah, we'll give them a moment. Everybody is ready to up. Give everybody else a little bit of time to get ready, and then we will be into our round 2 opening half pick a ban phases. We'll see what these bans are going to be once we get there. Again, Antiquarian, Grave Pup, and Goatman all taken off the table, which you will see in a little bit here in a moment once they get on screen and we get into this pick ban phase. But definitely going to be a lot of pretty interesting options, as there's worlds to see characters other than Hullabaloo banned away. Obviously, we've been talking about the wheel. If they know of this player's wheel, they could honestly just look at banning it on Chinatown for at least the moment, but leaving the door open to Hulla, definitely a scary option as well. So we'll see what the survivors are going to go for here. There's definitely a couple ideas they can go for.
And we are jumping straight into the picks and bans now. This is going to be on Chinatown. We're going to see a Seer and First Officer ban.
And yeah, it was Seer and Forward last go around, so they still don't want to play with that Seer, as we do actually get the wheel ban.
Oh, the players know. The survivors know that he plays wheel, and we're going to see a Priestess and a Forward.
As yeah, we do see some pretty strong picks come out here. As again, Seer, Priestess, some characters we talk about being banned a lot. It's Priestess not banned, Forward going to be left open as well. So Priestess Forward going to be picked up here, and this is a very strong opening set of characters. But again, have to keep in mind that these first three, including the newly picked Aeroplanist, all going to be global banned for the rest of the set.
Yeah, I think it is a risk they are willing to take, though. We're going to see a meteorologist ban from the side of 637.
Can't play that character. Okay, I guess is yeah. We're gonna get a pause on the deduction. Meteorologist is not a legal character, so they are not allowed to play Meteorologist. I feel like the best course of action is that they just made a mistake and they lose out on their ban, but we'll wait for tournament operators to finalize that decision, get us updated, and get the game back underway. But you know what? They can't play Wendy anymore.
No Wendy allowed. In the meantime, I asked a question in chat, and I got some answers from mainly Fafa IDV fan. Carrying the chat room right now, Fafa IDV fan is. And they said that they want to see Spider, Wheel, Leo, and Clerk. And then we also got an answer for Naiad.
Naiad's a tricky one. There's a couple people, obviously, who specialize quite a bit in Naiad. I know she is pretty popular as a deep pocket pick in the olden days for a lot of the Chinese IVL players, but definitely haven't seen a good Naiad game in quite a while. As we are getting an update here, it is going to be, I believe they're going to just get a new ban. I don't think we're going to bother resetting the whole deduction. As again, a lot of effort when we could just type a ban in chat and then they don't pick it for their last pick. As yeah, again, Meteorologist, Archer, and Peddler all currently, while enabled in competition mode, disabled for the identity of the Premier tournament. As they were kind of enabled midway, so not really fair to say to just include them in the middle. So we'll give a little bit, we'll get the updated ban here. Is again just gonna wait a little bit to have all of these decisions finalized.
Yeah, I would love to see a meteorologist just randomly come out, since she is like technically quote unquote legal now, just not for this tournament, but she is legal now in like normal tournament, but unfortunately, because it is the end of the series and she's just now becoming legal, we unfortunately cannot see her, because that would just be unfair.
Yeah, I honestly feel bad for some of those new characters. Obviously, Meteorologist is enabled in that Tier 1 Pro play, but things like Archer had a bit of dominance when she came out and just has been hit with nerf after nerf, absolutely gutting the character. As we do get an update, it is going to be a Mechanic ban for the final ban, not Meteorologist. That's going to be swapped over to Mechanic. Not quite going to get it updated, but obviously only one more pick to go, so doesn't really even matter, and it is just going to be the Fire Investigator last pick.
Yeah, that Fire pick makes sense. Fire is a very strong character at the moment, and I'm so upset that Archer, as you were mentioning, has been hit with all of these nerfs, because she came out as such a great character, and then they were like, no, she can't be that good, and now she's like not that great. And she's actually getting another nerf recently in the next like adjustment patch, and I'm very sad. I like Archer.
Yeah, Archer's a good time, but they just keep killing them, and unfortunately they will not be able to get played here at all, even if the teams did want to. As again, Meteorologist, Archer, Peddler all banned away. Is definitely not the biggest surprise, as they were again added basically mid-tournament, so not going to undo that for the Meteorologist, as it is just going to be Mechanic, as we'll see the survivors setting up all of their talents here, get everything finalized here. Priestess, Forward, Aeroplanist, Fire Investigator. There is no Goatman, there is no Breaking Wheel, and then we're going to get a Hunter pickup here. Any final guesses?
Oh, immediately locking in an opera singer.
And yeah, it's definitely not the most surprising pick in the world. Obviously, Hula is one of the characters that you're looking at being a big option here, but after his nerf, he's definitely been on a bit of a decline. A lot of people preferring the Goat Man, and then maybe now, like we're seeing here, even stepping away from the Hula for a character that was at least previously in Koa time seen as a lower quality character. But Opera still very, very strong. By all means, still a top 5 hunter in almost any argument. As it will be Priestess forward, Aeroplanist, Fire Investigator up against Opera here. Chess up 1 round 6-3 as we get here into area selection.
Yeah, we are going to be seeing some pretty standard almost spawns from these survivors. Usually you would want to have your priestess spawning in hotel though, just because she's a lot stronger in that area, but it does seem like we're going to go for this little Tetris shape. We've got Borrowed Tide on the arrow, Flywheel Tide on the forward, standard kite builds on the priestess and the fire investigator.
Yeah, we are going to get a hunter spawn here in this top right corner. Let's say last second swap out, and yeah, it is going to be locked in. So unless we see something pretty surprising, it's likely going to be a forward or priestess first chase. Could move over to the aeroplanist in mid if we really wanted, but definitely expecting them to maybe move to this priestess to try and make sure no support portals come in mid game.
Yeah, definitely the priestess would probably be the first, like the best first chase here. Opera Singer can definitely keep up with a priestess, especially after going through a, because she's just that dang fast. But yeah, we're just gonna have to wait and see what the hunter does, and yeah.
Yeah, we'll give a little bit more time, let this delay run its course, and then we will be in again round 1 after a solid hunter game by the chess players. They went in, got a single escape at the hands of their Gravekeeper to win the round 6-3, and now we're seeing the Hunter coming off of the last unfortunate match where they got a 3k with that Goatman. Moving in now, it is going to be an attempt on the Opera Singer here on Chinatown, and we are going to see how it goes for them, as again, really looking to try and get at least 3 kills here, if not grab all 4, to try and get back into this series and even things out for round 3, as we are here, Opera Singer going in, and it is going to be a move toward the forward.
Yeah, very interesting going towards the forward first, was not actually going to chase the forward, and instead is going to head more towards the middle here, probably trying to find out that fire investigator, or whoever is over here, but it doesn't actually have eyes on anybody yet. It does have tinnitus, but does not have eyes, but is now going to once again see that forward, and it looks like forward is going to be that first chase.
And yeah, this is definitely something that the Survivor team very clearly wanted. They had forward follow her around, as we'll see the other players go into hiding. Is the decoding not the best in the world, but a lot of ball getting used up here. About half of the ball gone now to get over to this second set of pallets. As we'll see the forward kiting around it. Opera did just get that teleport recall. His first hit comes on the pallet. Nicely done by the Opera. As again, first hit onto the forward. I Eat Food going to try and rotate once again out into this back corner. As we'll see just how far they can get from the Opera Singer. Might have to use some more ball here, and yeah, is going to go ahead and ball to get over to this next pallet, but the blink hit comes in, and it's nicely done by the Opera Singer for the first down before even a full cipher is done.
Yeah, very good job from both players there. I Eat Food just using a lot of what he has to work with in order to stall for as long as possible, but the ciphers are kind of behind at the moment, being 64, 71, and 35, with already the aeroplanist being in the area. And he is going to have to use that hover to get over it. Opera misses the hit, but it is going to swing again. It's not a terror shock, and there are some support portals from that priestess. Oh, and there's a global portal that he's going to be able to take, and now he is across the map, is going to go down now after the tide tournament is up, but Opera doesn't have any teleport and just used her blink. So, thanks to Priestess fast healing speed, they are probably going to heal him up in time. Yep.
And yeah, I mean, that's one of the problems with not going for Priestess first. You hit a massively long short portal and then a massively long portal, and you get the forward cross map and you fully heal him to a full HP now. So forward, the only player who's been on a chair is an incredibly hard chase is Opera, stuck on this Finn ball here as we have to figure out what we're going to do for this Opera, as that Cypher progress lost in the early game has just been made up for with a really nice combination of portals here, as Priestess going to get forward back to mid. Still about a third, maybe a bit less of ball work to work with, as Opera going to miss on a dash here forward. Could use ball here, and yeah, he is just going to rotate over to the window while Opera doesn't have these shadow dashes here. Is just going to move around now, trying to get back onto it, going around the tables. First hit back onto the forward is, again, 3 players injured at the moment. Fire Investigator with no Tide Turner, the sole player at full HP, is they actually don't have a Tide Turner left anymore, so we'll have to try and keep this forward on its feet as long as they can, but Priestess, no portals to work with, so it is just going to be up to forward to use this last maybe 10th of a ball here to try and figure something out as he goes up the stairs here. Will go down, but it is, no, nice flywheel, is now trying to navigate back around to this pallet here, but no, not going to get back around to it. Actually might have ended up being better upstairs, but went for the risky play, ended up getting punished for it, goes down in Opera. Just going to go for the chair here in this back corner, but look at the ciphers. 2 ciphers done, 70, 75, 33. The cipher progress has been massively made up here for the survivors, and forward, he's still only second chair.
Yeah, good job from the survivors being able to keep up on their ciphers. One is about to pop, the other is about to hit 90, and their second instance of Tide is actually on the chair right now. So unfortunately, when they go and rescue the forward, they won't have Tide Turner on him, but she is overextending right now, trying to see if she can pressure the ciphers right now. The forward's gone. I didn't even notice that. Wow. They are going to heal up the Priestess, it looks like, and there is somebody in the area that she is trying to find right now.
And yeah, it is going to be onto the arrow here on a blink attempt. And yeah, arrow should just go down here. Thrusters trying to use these jetpacks to get as far as he can, but it's just going to be an opera singer, so not the biggest problem in the world to catch up here. As again, 95% on this hotel cipher, then getting the other cross map to 50s. No teleport to work with right now as Opera going to try and navigate around Priestess. Fully healed, going to look over to try and maybe pop the cipher, maybe come rescue. We'll see exactly what the Priestess wants to do. A short portal comes out here. Opera just going to return to the chair here as Priestess. Not really the most simple route, but still hasn't really been spotted out by the Operas, so could be waiting around, trying to get another nice short portal. 95, 91 on these ciphers is, again, no borrowed time. Aeroplanist about to hit second phase here. Will it be the pop on the far cipher? Close cipher at 95% in hotel here, so Opera gonna need to figure out what they want to do, but perfectly content letting Arrow sit on chairs. Priestess now gonna get spotted out. Nice bait there by the Hunter as Opera navigating back around. Portal around, though, gonna try and get to this Aeroplanist. Can't take the first hit here, but just returns the short portal to get to the other side of the walls. This cipher now is getting worked on. It will be primed here as Aeroplanist gonna get rescued, and now it doesn't matter if he goes down as they just pop it, and Priestess hit by the detention. Why did we pop?
They both had borrowed time. Why did you guys pop?
I don't know if that was an attempt to full prime it or what, but a massive blunder by the survivors here. Both of your survivors have borrowed time, and with the detention, you just feed a kill to the Hunter, as a Priestess gonna be the one to tank that hit. Finn did get this far gate open, so they can still get a kill or an escape, if not a tie here, but it feels like they could have gotten this so much more stable, as Finn gonna block the door, just trying to burn as much time off of this opera singer as Opera teleports to the far gate. Now it is gonna be the side of the Aeroplanist trying to figure something out. Recalls off the teleport, moving over to the Priestess now, as again, Aeroplanist trying to figure out how to get out. No jetpack, no flywheel, no windows, so really doesn't have anything left to help him here. Maybe a smaller trait on the Persona tree, but really nothing left for them to utilize here, so we'll see exactly what Aeroplanist is going to do. Priestess surely to die on chair. Finn still baiting out by this door, as Aeroplanist now working toward the other door, but Opera seemingly has a little bit of a suspicion on where they might be, as again, Priestess in chair, Finn at door, and Aeroplanist has no idea what to do.
Yeah, in a way, Aeroplanist is kind of keeping the opera singer in that area by not even being there. due to just a high, like, almost paranoia, almost, if you will. An aeroplanist is actually going straight for the dungeon. He's probably gonna just tell the fire investigator, hey, you need to leave right now, I have dungeon. As he could not get the gate open, and that's exactly what's gonna happen, and it is a tie from the survivors, even after that pop.
And yeah, I mean, I realistically, obviously, we're looking at a detention opera singer. You're not getting a third escape, but at least they recovered from it. But what a potential massive blunder. If that game took a turn for the worse, that would be the moment that we'd be looking back on where they lost a round, where they lost a point. But again, they at the end of the day, how they got there doesn't matter, but it is going to be a tie on the round, 2-2 apiece, as it will move over. It'll be, of course, the other hunter, the other survivors to move in. And at this point, you're looking for a 3K or a 3 escape to grab the round.
Yeah, this is going to be extremely difficult for the survivors, as Fafa is a still very talented hunter. So it'll just be, we have to wait and see kind of what the survivors do. That was crazy. Oh my god, I can't get over that pop. That had to have been a mistake.
There's no shot that we know our
these
team has
survivors,
because we're in a voice call. Like, we're communicating what talents we have. If you don't already know them from earlier, you have to know your teammates have borrowed time. It just had to have been a freak accident trying to prime.
These survivors are too good. They have communication. They planned the build out ahead of time. There's no way that was anything but I accidentally popped the cipher. There's no way that was anything but an accident. I mean, they pulled it out, they pulled it back, but that had to just been a mistake. There's no way it wasn't.
I mean, yeah, at that point, there's really no other world around it. I mean, there shouldn't be anyone who sees that and isn't confused about the decision to pop there. But again, at the end of the day, it just doesn't matter. They get the 2 escapes still, which is what they were realistically looking at, and now they'll move into the second half of the second round with no real difference, I suppose, after it. As again, it'll be Fafa for the chess players trying to pick up a 3K, the survivors trying to grab at least a tie, if not a 3 escape, to bring it even or get another round in their favor. And again, if chess walk away with a 3K in this round, it is already getting really dangerous for 637.
Yeah, because that would mean if chess players win one more round, that's it for the set. So 637 are going to have to either tie this set or pull out a 3 escape in order to keep the set going and give themselves another chance to win this set and therefore win the tournament. We do have all of the players in the lobby now, and we're just waiting for the picks and bans, which are starting right now.
Yeah, we do. Again, Puppeteer, Novelist, FO, Goatman should be our global band, so we'll see exactly what it is going to be here, and it's just going to be a pretty standard Seer Antiquarian band, not needing to ban the Professor or the Perfumer, as we aren't on that Goatman. Is again, just a little bit of targeted bans for that Goatman, but moving back, and it's going to be a Soul Weaver ban in round 2 here on Chinatown.
We are seeing no Hullabaloo bans, which could potentially be dangerous for the side of the survivors, because they don't know if Fafa had. But clearly they know that he has a Soul Weaver, and they're not letting out the forward either. Priestess and Bomber are very good on Chinatown, probably 2 of the best survivors on Chinatown in my opinion. We are just now waiting to see who the survivors pick now, and is going to be Knight.
Yeah, Knight isn't a character that we've seen obviously yet today, and a couple of other characters as well, not really in that slot, but it is going to be the Knight here. Obviously, you would love to have a rescuer, so it is going to be a calm storm on that one as we wait to see it. Fire Investigator final ban here. They don't want to let that one into the non-global banned pool, so it is going to be a final pick option now for the survivors. Again, you expect a strong character that they want to keep available, and they go Prospector round 2.
Yay, my boy. Prospector can work really well on Chinatown. I've definitely gotten some clutch games with Prospector on Chinatown before, so I'm very excited to see how they utilize this Norton here. We are just waiting for the builds to be selected, and then we get to see who Fafa decides he wants to play. Probably Hullabaloo. Probably Hullabaloo.
Yeah, we'll see what Fafa wants to go, as it really is just up to the pool. Obviously, there are a lot of players at this point who aren't comfortable playing Hullabaloo in his current state, or aren't comfortable playing Hullabaloo at all, so we'll see if Fafa is one of the seemingly few players that are still comfortable with the round 2 Hulla. So Priestess, Embalmer, Knight, Prospector, there aren't really that many characters who Hullabaloo hates going against, and while there are some annoyances obviously with Knight and Prospector, it's definitely not the scariest comp that we've ever seen here. So we'll wait and see what the final call is going to be here, but again, I don't really expect too big of a problem for Fafa, at least in theory, but we'll see what the decision is.
Yeah, Hullabaloo has really honestly been on a fall off arc at the moment, and it's going to be a disciple from Fafa here. I should have known that. He played Fafa against IT. I should have known this. But yeah, it's going to be a disciple on Chinatown. Is disciple strong on Chinatown, or not in your opinion?
I definitely wouldn't think Chinatown and Disciple going super well together, but I think that Disciple is definitely a character who can still always get a chase win. Cats are not the hardest to hit they're the same difficulty regardless of the map, really. Obviously, if you start talking about staircases and whatnot, that's a different problem, but in normal chases, you can still hit cats, you can still get downs, and while the map distance might be a little bit of a later problem, again, it shouldn't really be that big of one for them.
I have a sneaking suspicion the Knight and Prospector were specifically because they knew Fafa was Disciple.
Yeah, I am surprised.
I have a bit of a sneaking suspicion.
Yeah, I'm surprised to see him pick Disciple after seeing that there is a Prospector, but I mean, realistically, you can just ignore the Prospector for the majority of the game and it won't be that big of a problem. Obviously, if Umi starts hitting some S-tier harassment, you're going to need to get a good solve on it, but for the moment, especially with the spawn locations being this Tetris T piece with the Prospector on the farthest portion of the map from the Disciple, it's really not going to be that difficult for Fafa to just not go for Umi.
Hold on, really quick, nobody has Tide.
That is true. There are no Tide Turners on this team against the Disciple.
Sorry, I just noticed that. I was like, wait a minute.
That is a decision that the players are allowed to make, is it's going to be flywheel, Windows on all four. All four players running Windows knee jerk, and then we'll have a borrowed time on Priestess, Knight, flywheel on the other two. No Tide Turner is not what I would do when you need a tie, but you know what?
I would at least still have Knight on Tide. I know he's got his sword little ability, but I would still have Knight on Tide. Or at the very least, if you're going risky, I would have Prospector on Tide.
And yeah,
one of the two, or Embalmer. I know that Knight and Embalmer both have a built-in Tide technically, but you still want somebody with actual Tide Turner.
I mean, yeah, this is an interesting call. It's a risky call. We'll see if it pays off for them now. We'll go on. Fafa going to move into this building, trying to get this first play onto the Priestesses. We'll see how it goes for Fafa, as it will be Priestess jumping down. Going to look for potentially some portal usage here is going to go through. Fafa just has to go through for the stun. Pallet is going to be available here for the Priestess, as it will be dropped. Cat's going to come out, as it does look like he did grab the Priestess, so is going to get a little bit of CC, a stun on it, as Priestess going to take the portal down. Not going to be able to go back up with it, so just going to rotate around. Have to be careful with Priestess going back up, and yeah, this portal is going to be taken here by Yudu. As Priestess now just gonna wait at this drop off. As we'll see. No, he gets him. He thinks he's going to the portal, and he ends up just getting a terror shock. Even more presence on this Disciple, and obviously Priestess, the damage doesn't matter, but the free presence for Disciple is nice there after a really good mind game by Fafa.
Yeah, and this looked like Fox going to try and break that window a little bit more, going to break this. That prediction on the drop was incredible from Fafa there. And then the Terror Shock was even better. We do see the Knight now coming in. And yeah, is going to get a good prediction from the ability. And yeah, now that that Priestess has a little bit of time, but is going to just go down now. Um,
And, I mean, yeah, you think back to the previous games and where we've seen the Cypher progress by the time we're getting our second chair, and you think back to Ever Sleeping, we're talking 4 Cyphers are done by the time we're getting this chair in some cases, and while those are extreme, those games still ended with 3 or 4 kills, and Priestess is on second chair as we pop our second Cypher with another one at half, so the decoding game here is really, really, really slow for the survivors here, and just the pace that Disciple can get some of these downs with Knight not having another Tide Turner is going to become a very, very, very scary problem that they have to deal with. Is Knight going to move in here, is going to dodge out on this swing. It's a double swing prediction here as the range comes out, but there's no Tide and they get stunned up, and Priestess is just dead already. 2 Cyphers done, one at 70, one at 40. Knight potentially open to chase now, as could Trump to teleport. A couple things is, yeah, we actually just insta Trump to teleport, and we're going to go straight mid, and we're going to get onto the Prospector, so we'll see how good Umi can use his counters. Does have the magnet on, trying to bait out, as it's going to just come out for the first back away stun. Is Umi going to go for some more space? Still has a cat. Missed swing there by Fafa. Is just trying to win this mind game. Charge swing comes out. Flywheel from the Prospector is pretty nice for Umi, as the Disciple waiting around a little bit as we'll move on over. Cat's going to come out onto Umi once again here. We'll see if he can catch a magnet. Is going to stick on to the Disciple as Cat grabs the Prospector. Should be able to get at least the root, but the magnet going to become a bit of a problem for Umi. And yeah, just pulls him into the wall here as now going to try and catch up here. First swing almost hits. Not going to get it again as Prospector half HP. Another stun there. Really nice work by Umi, just kiting out as long as he can. 3 Cyphers done. One at 75, one at 45 as Umi doesn't have another magnet to work with right now. Cat's going down, but might have to transition away here. Is going to look to the Embomber. Very early first hit for it.
yeah, that Prospector was doing an incredible job just being able to kite out the Anne, but unfortunately this does not have the same luck and is going to go down pretty quickly. This is also just not that great of a kiting area, and is going to chair Numer here closer to Umi, to just be able to pressure the other side. Oh, it's just even going to bring him over here. The next cipher is at 98, 99, and done. And going to re-pick up that Embalmer, but Embalmer might be able, in a world that is not this one, to struggle.
As, yeah,
And we're
Disciple
probably going
fortunate
to see
enough
that
to
coffin
get
come in.
Yeah, here's the real problem for the survivors. This 80% Cypher is 100% been spotted out by the Disciple. Obviously, the locality to it, it's pretty hard to miss, but Embomber gets out that pretty much for free there. I mean, obviously, it's the point of Embomber coffins. He gets out, and it will be a chase now. We'll see if the Disciple will spot out Knight here, as again, this isn't necessarily the target you want to chase right now, but it's what you get. It's what you're going to have to take. His first hit should come out here. Yeah, is going to hit it. Does still have a helmet to work with as Numer trying to navigate on over back to the Cypher machine at 80%, but Umi, the Prospector on the far side, no problem just starting up a new one. They know the difficulty of popping this mid Cyphers. It will be Disciple sending a cat once again on over to the side of Honor. Gets the second hit. Will be a down here as Knight can't quite go in basement, not quite here, but certainly is going to get chaired up once again as mid Cypher going to get pushed by Numer here. And again, with the borrowed time only being on Knight, pretty dangerous, but a teleport straight to the Embomber is going to be a little bit dangerous now for both sides as Prospector sprinting to the rescue, and Numer now has to kite.
Yeah, this is a very dangerous game that the survivors are playing at the moment, and Disciple is going to be able to get that hit in time before the stun runs out, and is going to oh, I thought he was gonna go basement for a second. But now the prospect, or not the prospect, the Embalmer's on his second chair, and he's able to pressure the middle cipher as well. Prospector's sneaking around the long way in order to get this rescue. Or no, it's the knight. I apologize. That is honor there. And his honor is just going to go down, and the cipher is not high enough to pop. It is only reaching 70, and Fafa knows where Umi is and is going to be able to chair. Oh, is this actually going to drop? And he knows exactly where the prospector is as he goes immediately for the drop area where the prospector is actually just hiding out right now. The prospector is just waiting for Fafa to come up and is probably going to get a stun here soon, as he does have the magnet onto Umi now. The knight gets up, but Fafa is immediately just going to swap onto that knight. Oh, the cat doesn't grab. How does the cat not grab? That would have grabbed me every
Yeah, Embalmer did, of course, die down in the dungeon, so it's a 2v1 at the moment. It's a nice jump by the Disciple, gets through the pallet, just gets the hit with no cat as Cypher. 85% teleport comes out, as again, you know that knight doesn't have an exit path with him. As Disciple, no problem waiting for the cat, no problem moving toward Umi, is going to pick up the magnet here, and again, you can just brute force play this chase anymore. You don't need to do anything fancy, tank all of the magnets here as jump comes out, as not quite going to get the hit, does get stunned into the wall as Umi really doesn't want to tank this cat, but he's going to have to, is slowed up, and it will be the down, and that will be the game here, forfeit, as the chess players. The series is not over yet. We are playing a best of 5, not a best of 3, but you look at the leads they've taken, 6-3, 7-2, and it's 6-3-7. They need to figure something out.
Yeah, CC have just been dominating this this set so far. So 6-3-7 are going to have to pull out all of the stops for this last one if they want to continue onto the next round, but I don't know. CC have just been absolutely, again, they've been dominating, and so it could just be a set win for the side of chess players here if they keep up this momentum. Yeah. Hi, chat. I don't know where Colonel went.
Yeah, I'm muted. I need to learn the difference between red and blue lights on my mic, but again, I think it's definitely starting to become a little bit of a concern here with the round scores. Again, 13-5 right now, and that's the score that these teams are winning with in other rounds, right? You look back through the 6-3-7, they were winning 15-3, 15-3, 17-5, chess themselves, 13-4, 13-5, 16-2, 16-2. These are the scores that we're seeing some of these teams taking massive leads with and closing series out in 2-0, and obviously if this was anywhere but the finals, the series is over 2-0 right now, so 6-3-7 do really need to figure this out.
Yeah. They need to plan a little bit for how they want to deal with this round 3, because this could be the make or break for the set. We're in round 3 now, and team chess players have 2 round wins. If it were me in this situation, I'd be terrified.
Yeah, so we do get an update here as we move on in. Chess are adhere to ban a map. It is worth noting every map is once again available for round 3. Round 1, round 2, every map that we've seen once again available here. So it is going to be onward, as it will be the chess squad. Again, to win the game right now, they simply need to win this round. So they're definitely going to be looking to try and take the series out right now. And again, 6-3-7, they need to start getting round wins, and they need to start getting points to close it out.
Yeah, we are just waiting now for teams to get into the lobby. We're waiting to see if anyone subs out. I don't know if anyone has, but you're keeping track of that and I'm not. We're just waiting for map picks and people to get into the lobby. Stay hydrated, kids.
Yeah, getting a confirmation on some of these bands. As again, it was round 1 hospital band Ever Sleeping pick, round 2 church band Chinatown pick. So we'll see. I believe church and Chinatown band away might have been misled a little bit there. Either every map is open or church and China are unavailable. But we'll wait for final confirmation on that and see which way the teams want to go. Okay, yeah, so Hospital and Ever Sleeping unbanned, Church and China are banned, so it's not every map available. Apologies before that, as it will be just those most recent two, but definitely can see Ever Sleeping. I expect to see it picked or banned here. Oh, there it is, yeah, Ever Sleeping banned. There it goes.
Yeah, they do not want to play Ever Sleeping once again. We could see miscellaneous maps start coming in.
Send the Dark Woods, holy.
Send in the Dark Woods. I love how you immediately knew what I was going on about.
I mean,
You're like, yeah, bring it in.
On these normal maps, and I'm going to call Ever Sleeping and Chinatown normal maps, 637 have been just getting bled out slowly, and while they aren't getting absolutely dominated 10-0, 10-0 by any means, these round results are still not what they need, so maybe trying to flip the script and send them to somewhere they aren't as familiar or comfortable with, such as Darkwoods, is an ideology that they could go for, as it'll also
well,
be
you have to keep in mind, chess players have played Darkwoods before. And they won that set, and won that round on Darkwoods. So if they want to send chess players to somewhere that may be unfamiliar, Darkwoods would actually not be the play here.
Yeah, we'll see what they are going to go, but it is just going to be Lakeside, so don't need to worry about it, as Lakeside going to be picked up here by the side of 637, and again, it is going to be, at this point, do or die. You have to at least tie this round.
Yeah, you have to tie the round in order to push it for the round. If not, then you want to at least win the round. Well, you at least want to tie the round. Winning the round would be even better, but you want to at least tie the round. This could be match point for 637 at the moment, and so they really need to think long and hard about like what they want to do, where they want to go, and stuff like that, which is why we're kind of seeing this take a little bit longer, is because 637 are really having to think about it right now. It looks like we're going Lakeside.
Yeah, it is going to then be Chess opting to send their Hunter first once again here. So it'll be 637 Survivors back in once again, and they really, really do at this point need to figure it out, as Fafa on the Hunter side looking to pick up a 4K, and if Fafa gets a 4K, the series becomes incredibly, incredibly difficult for the side of 637. Their win conditions would be in round 3 after going down 5-0 in the first half. Their Hunter would need to get a 4K, and then they would need to win both of the other rounds by a grand total of at least 8 points to force overtime, but definitely far away from doing that, because first we have to see how Fafa does here for the Hunter side. Again, there will be no availability of the Goatman and the Disciple. The Survivors cannot work with a Puppeteer, Novelist, First Officer, Priestess, Embalmer, and a Knight. And then, of course, again, Goatman, Disciple, both off the table. And again, 637 Survivors really do need to get some nice results here. Overall, they have to start winning some rounds to really get back into the series.
Yeah, it's a lot of pressure right now on 637 at the moment. Fafa has just been absolutely dominating during all of these rounds, absolutely being able to pull it out at the end of the day with the Goatman, and just absolutely having complete dominance with that, and so it'll just be wait and see what he does on Lakeside here, as the tournament comes closer and closer to ending. again, this is the grand finale of the tournament, so this is for everything right now. And so both teams have a lot of pressure on them at the moment. Sorry, I'm not good at like talking. Oh.
Yeah, all good. So we do have all of our players
Umi.
in the lobby here.
Umi's trying to switch with me. Umi wants me to
They need the pro. They need the pro. But yeah, we are.
Oh,
we're
trust
getting
me,
into
I'm
right
not by
now.
any means.
No, you are. You belong in grand finals here as we do make our way in. Seer Antiquarian opening bands here.
Yeah, Seer Antiquarian, they did not. The Seer has not been let out today, which is incredible. Opera and Soul Weaver ban. So they're pretty confident that Fafa does not have Bullet Blue. And instead want to ban out his Opera and his Spider. We're going to see a Fire Investigator pick alongside whoever else they decide that they want to pick up.
Yeah, they are looking at this Fire Investigator once again. They want to try and lock in some of these picks they're comfortable on, that they think they can find success, and they're just going to go back to whatever they have left at that top of those meta tables. Fire Investigator Psycho picked up on 1-2.
Yeah, Fire and Psych picked. We're now who next Fafa decides to ban and is going to be the Acrobat, which is actually a very good choice. Acrobat is very strong on Lakeside Village with being able to easily get into Shack, as well as with all of the high places that he can just jump from. So banning out that Acrobat, it does actually make a lot of sense, and we're going to pull out the forward here as probably the designated rescuer team until they pull someone else out to have that rescue, and they put forward on as a secondary rescue. We are waiting to see the final ban from Fafa here, and it's going to be Painter, actually. Who bans Painter?
I mean, you know what? It's Lakeside. We've seen Painter get some games in Lakeside thinking back to like co-op, so I guess it's not the most outlandish ban, but here's one that we haven't seen in quite a bit. Explorer, Mr. Kurt himself, gonna get picked up here, as again, they need to get these ciphers done, but they want to move it around how they're gonna do it a little bit, so Explorer gonna be the last pick here, and again, 6-3-7, this game is not the last game of the tournament, regardless of its result, but this round certainly could close it out, so this team definitely needs to find some success here, as we'll give them a little bit to go for their talents. But what do you think Fafa's looking at here? No Goatman, no Disciple, no Opera, no Soul Weaver here on Lakeside.
Oh my god, he could pull out a Wax. I wouldn't be shocked if he pulled out Wax artist here. I don't think Hermit would be good on this map. I know he can kind of traverse maps pretty easily, but I don't think he would work well on Lakeside here, considering how many walls there are that could block his charges. I'm gonna be a little bit biased here and say that if he wants to go really off meta, he could pull out a Fool's Gold. Fool's Gold does do actually really well on Lakeside due, again, to how many walls there are on the map. But I'm also just biased.
Alright, ship the Gamekeeper. It's gotta be time for the Gamekeeper. Get the hooks out here. We'll see what Fafa wants to go here. A lot of options left for him, and there's one that I definitely thought about. Breaking Wheel. He definitely can struggle a little bit inside of the ships, but pretty good at moving around these big maps pretty quickly, and it's gonna be Wheel into Finn, Psycho, Forward, and Explorer, and this is definitely a comp that a Wheel enjoys.
There's the Wheel that everybody in chat has been anticipating. Not from the Hunter they were anticipating it. Definitely the character. Wheel does definitely do well with this team comp. He might not be able to spot out that Explorer though, is the thing. We finally got some Tide Turners from the survivors. We got Tide Explorer, Tide Knee-Jerk Explorer, we got Tide Borrowed Forward, Borrowed Knee-Jerk Finn, and Full Kite Psychologist.
Yeah, we'll wait a little bit to see which way it is going to go here, as again, not really the most surprised here, as it is just going to be a standard set of survivor spawns. It'll be Finn and Explorer in the top left corner, joined by our wheel, who will have the ability to go for either of them as Psycho and Forward on a little bit of a break, as we do see our talents coming out. Here's something we didn't all expect. Explorer tied, as it will be dual rescue with himself and Forward. It'll be 2 borrowed times on the Forward and the Fire Investigator, windows on everybody except the Forward, and then Psycho, our only flywheel. So definitely nice for the Breaking Wheel. Breaking Wheel gets absolutely destroyed by flywheels, so only has to worry about it in the sake of a Psychologist is obviously going to try and figure out what everybody else is using. But for the moment, Fafa, top left corner, Finn and Explorer on the chopping block, and we'll see how Fafa does. Again, they're up 2-0 at the moment, and a big round here could lock away the tournament.
Yeah, and I do actually want to bring back up that Tide Explorer. Tide Explorer actually is not like that bad of a build for Explorer to bring, because if the Explorer is really good at hiding, then he can just go in for some secret backdoor rescues and pull off a Tide Turner. So it's actually not that uncommon of a build that we see on Explorer. Typically not the first one we see on Explorer, but it's not uncommon, and Fafa is going to try and find this Explorer here, but again, since Explorer is already using the book, he's not going to be able to find him super easily. Fafa does know he's in the area due to having the tinnitus, but Explorer is just going to continue hiding, and he is going to go straight onto the Forward first, which actually is not that bad of a chase for a wheel, considering he can actually dash as well, but is actually switching off again to the Psychologist, and is immediately going to get his first spike off onto that Psychologist.
And yeah, this is a pretty simple loop to play for Wheel, so I am surprised to see him go out and Needle here, but he potentially wants to burn some of this Psycho stress before he starts getting the damage knocked around the team. So it is just going to be the first hit on the Psycho. Would love to maybe, it looks like he is trying to get this hit here before, and yeah, so a decent bit of stress going to be burned there, and it's not too bad of a first down. Insolence combined with a bit of extra damage on the Psycho obviously is going to make for a pretty nice insolent, or pressure with the Insolence here, as we'll see how he is going to go on that presence grind to max, as Yudu is going to get spotted out here. That's the Explorer now, half a page in his hands, as we'll see it, 82%, 50% on the Cypher, as his Explorer going to back away from the chair. It looks like they're going to send Numer in here on the Finn. No Tide Turner to work with, but it does seem the Hunter is looking towards the Finn here. Is this going to go on bouncing forward? His first needle hit onto the Finn goes out. Is just going to go, looks like, for a basic, and yeah, 3/4 done to the Finn as the unhook or the unchair comes out, as we'll see Fafa now trying to move back toward the Psycho, who is freshly healed, has a full presence available for this wheel, so can just go out of a wheel form here and go for a pretty standard blink down onto the Psychologist, as a nice Finn ball is going to force the blink here to maybe give Umi a fighting chance. Flywheel comes out, but the hit still going to land, and it is going to be a down again onto the Psycho here, and the wheel getting off to a nice start tempo-wise. 2 ciphers completed with the help of that Explorer page. 1 cipher at 27%. They are working on a new page now, as another chair for the Psycho, and Forward on the way.
Yeah, I do want to say that first down on Psychologist was actually pretty early. He did make up a lot of that time.
That's an early rescue.
Switching targets. It is an early rescue, but it is also with Tide Turner. Psychologist is actually just going straight to the corner there, though, and he's going to try and see if he can double down the Forward here.
And yeah, that rescue definitely could have waited till he started to go out of form. It made it so easy to get the Psycho down and start pressuring this Forward. But at the end of the day, Psycho runs to the water. Forward is going to potentially have a chance here. It's not easy to move, but it is going to be a smart trap, but you can still go around it, as yeah, Breaking Wheel does actually get the drop in time. Forward going to move away from the water. Forward, another chance here, but the water not going to be slowing him enough, as Page is getting used up on the ciphers here. 3rd cipher about to be popped as Forward trying to figure something out here, gets a knockback, but not into a wall, so Psycho is dead. Forward, only about 20% of that ball left to work with, as first snap is going to be used here on the Forward. Just hit a little bit of chip damage on him on the way out, as we'll see Fire Investigator here. This is why I banned Fire Investigator on the wheel, forces him out of wheel form. Now he has to break this trap. Is nice time bought by Numer here, but again, the pace of this game, the decoding a little bit slow.
Yeah, Fafa did really make up a lot of that time. And it is actually going to see if he can. Oh, he doesn't actually see the Explorer there. But it's going to go straight for the forward now, and forward does have a chip and now a spike. Fafa getting a little bit turned around, but does see now where the forward is going to red light trick to just get a little bit closer and is just going to swing and down that forward. And the ciphers are actually extremely slow at the moment, with both of them only being 27 and 18. Forward or Explorer does have that page, but it kind of does seem like, oh yeah, he's going to use the full page, and the cipher is now about to be primed, maybe even popped.
As yeah, this is definitely still a fortunate scenario. They did just go ahead and pop it. This is a no detention. Breaking wheels again opted for the insolence confined space, which obviously insolence is perfectly acceptable on a wheel, but confined space on a map like Lakeside definitely an interesting choice. But regardless, it should still be at very worst a 2-kill here for the wheel, but definitely looks like he's going to struggle to get the third. Yeah, he's just going to drop this player here, and he's going to spin over to this door, but it looks like he'll be a little bit slow, not going to get the needles and the hit in time, as Finn is going to get out, and it will just be the wheel returning. I am concerned. He did carry Explorer for a little bit, and it doesn't look like he's out of chair yet, so there could be a chance of a wiggle here for Yudu as Honor on the far gate here as Fafa going to go ahead and pick him up. We'll see if Explorer has any chance of wiggling off, as FF doesn't even want to try it. It's just going to be a tie here, and as we do move into the next half, a dead even.
Yeah, this is a very good position for 637. This was kind of what they were looking for. 637 needs as well a tie here to tie the set, but if they get if they get a 3K, then that'll be a win for 637, and they will be moving on to a round 4. But it just depends on how the chess players survivors play.
So yeah, we will be definitely keeping an eye on the score here. Is again 6-3-7. If they get a tie, they go into the next round really in a rough spot. If they get 3 escaped here, if the 6-3-7 Hunter is only able to manage 1 kill on Lakeside, the series ends. Chess Players walks away the IDVPT champions. As on the other hand of it, if we do see a 3K or a 4K, it is going to be a pretty nice situation for 637 considering where they were going into the round, as we'll see exactly what it is going to end up being here for the 637 squad. As again, it is going to be Antiquarian, Gravekeeper, Puppeteer, Priestess forward, Arrow, and Goatman Opera banned away here. So we'll see how this ends up going as we get the players loaded in.
Yeah. I do want to say, chat, I know that was disappointing, but please continue to hype up the players. Thank you. But yeah, this is a very good situation, again, for the 637 players, but it all depends now on if the Hunter is able to get that tire 3K that will push us into that round 4.
Yeah, definitely going to be interesting, as again, we are starting to get to that point where we do have just about all of our global banned characters. It should be pretty simple to figure out here how this round is going to go, as obviously it is going to be preferred for the 637 Hunter here to pick up a 4K to try and get that point gap closed. As again, while they do need to win some rounds, they need to win at least 2 of the next 3 rounds, they still need to worry about that point total. Unless they win all 3 rounds starting from right now through the rest of the set, it is going to be a pretty tough a position, as they need to close the point gap, as they are still down again the opening round 7-3-2 and 6-3, so 13-5 to open it, and they are going to need to close that gap as well. So you can either, for the side of 637, win all 3 rounds, which is definitely still possible, or you can win 2 rounds, draw a round, and then in your wins, either even or best that point gap. So we'll see how 637 are going to do, and again, it all starts out with their Hunter here, and definitely going to be interesting to see what these bands come out as. Is obviously Goatman and the Opera unavailable, but we'll see what the other bands are as well.
Yeah, with all of these more stronger, more meta characters are being global banned, it is going to be really interesting to see sort of who will be pulled out. And this team doesn't have access to Priestess. I don't know if the other team had access to Priestess either. Probably not. But no Priestess on a map.
China.
Yeah. Which makes sense. But at the same time, a Priestess would have also been really good here.
And yeah, we'll see what it is going to be as the 637 Hunter once again underway here. We'll see what the bands are going to be. In the past, we've seen Seer Band as their opening band alongside Forward, Novelist, Aeroplanist, Antiquarian, Forward, and Fire Investigator across the set. So we'll see exactly what they are going to ban out here. Still a lot of things to work with. Fire Investigator going to hit the axe once again and joined by an Embalmer.
Yeah, these are pretty solid bands. Fire Investigator is just really good, and then Embalmer dangerous on a bigger map like Lakeside Village, especially if you're across the map and he embalms to Big Bow. We're going to see a Hullabaloo and a Wheel ban on the side of the chess players survivors.
Yeah, definitely.
There's our girl.
Oh, yeah, we saw a Mechanic ban in place of that Meteorologist ban earlier, but definitely seeing it left open this time with the Finn and the Embalmer, and it's going to be Mechanic Weeping Clown here. Definitely a unique opening queue that we see.
Weeping Clown! Sorry, I'm a Weeping main.
Fair enough, that would...
I actually played him during my matches in this tournament. Very fun. We are now just waiting to see who it's going to be. Seer once again. Seer not seeing the light of day today. Which makes sense. Seer's a pretty strong character. We're just waiting to see who else is picked, and we're going to see a Toy Merchant.
And yeah, I'm interested to see how the Toy Merchant does here. As it's definitely a map where there are some good catapult locations. You can get up on towards the ramp of the ship with a catapult. So we'll see exactly where Eat Food gets all of those set up. There's a lot of places where you can get some good value out of it, but we'll just see exactly what they are going to opt for here, as it will be the Acrobat final ban.
Yeah, we now are just going to wait for that final pick, and it's going to be a Coordinator. We haven't even seen Coordinator being banned at all in this set, so I guess the Hunters have not been like too afraid of that Coordinator at all.
Yeah, we'll see how it does. Obviously, you have main rescue in the hands of the Coordinator. Weeping Clown, always able to go for it, has some stunts as well. Mechanic, obviously, always a very solid character. Making a game a 5v1 is a massive buff, so we'll see how well the survivors are able to do here. As again, looking for good results here. Both sides have a lot riding on this game, and it's only going to get more and more intense as we move on further in the series. As 637 Hunter needs pretty badly a 3k or a 4k. Can live with a 2k, you'll move on with a 2k, but if you get anything less than a tie, if the survivors find a triple escape, Chess walk away victorious with a clean 3-0 final sweep. As we'll wait for the talents to get locked in, and then we'll see what Hunter 637 are betting on.
Yeah, we are just waiting now for the bans. I'm very excited to see what 233 can do with this Weeping Clown. I'm very biased about that. I also can't wait to see the Mechanic, because we haven't really yet seen a Mechanic be played in this set. And Mechanic's just a very interesting character to watch in general, so I'm very excited about that. And it looks like we are now just waiting for Bill to be locked in, which they are locked in, and we are going to see now who
Oh,
yes! Oh my god!
dang.
Wait, this could actually be really good! This could be really good for 637.
And yeah, I mean, this is a risky character. It's not one I've seen played in this specific tournament. I don't think I've seen a Sculptor game at all, but it's obviously a character that a lot of people know how to play, a lot of people have extreme excellence in, and we'll see if the Hunter here joins that roster. As again, Sculptor, definitely not what I expected to get locked in here, but it's definitely a character that can figure out some kills. As again, this Sculptor really got to drive home the fact that they really need 3 or 4 kills here, and it's definitely an interesting pick to put a lot on, but I suppose at this point you can't stay safe, so it hasn't worked out so far.
Yeah, now we're going to see we're going to straight line spawn. Yes, straight line spawn is so funny. Though I would say you want that toy merchant in big boat, just so she can set up that really good big boat catapult. But I'm not the player here. But yeah, we are going to see the classic straight line spawn from CC here, and it is only a matter of time before we see where the Hunter is going to spawn, where they decide they're going to spawn, and they're going to spawn underneath the toy merchant. That toy merchant is probably going to be that first chase, which means the mechanic will be let out to just decode the heck out of these ciphers. We've got Flywheel borrowed on the Weeping, we've got borrowed knee jerk on the mechanic, and normal tide turner builds on both the toy merchant and the coordinator. I'm not sure about Tide on toy merchant. Tide on Weepy would have made sense, as Weepy is also now a rescue character, but Tide on that toy merchant is very interesting.
Yeah, tactical airstrike rescues, I suppose, here for the survivors, but we'll see exactly what they plan on utilizing. As again, at this point for the survivors, you're just looking to buy time, and that's what these tides are going to help them do. Cord gun, catapults, clown rockets, all of these items just give you time in the game. Clown buys you space. Toy merchant puts you in the air where you can't get a hit. Cord gun is a 4-some-second stun, and again, they are looking for a 3K to close the series out here. A 3 escape for the survivors to close the series out here. Is while it's unlikely considering the stretch of the game, we are moving into this lower meta of Hunters, where Sculptor, not necessarily something you expect to see, and it's not necessarily something that is guaranteed excellence, but we'll see how they are going to do here. 637 Hunter gets things underway.
Yeah, and I do want to mention, you were talking about the items earlier. That mechanic box is going to be really helpful in terms of the Cypher Rush. We already have a Cypher started, and the Sculptor is not even really like super close yet to that toy merchant, but is already going to get a super early chip onto I Eat Food there. But Food doing a really good job just avoiding all of the statues, and is going to just set down a catapult. He predicted the red light and is just going to move over to a small boat there, doing a very good job, and is going to get the vault on time. And Food just doing a really good job being able to run this Sculptor around. Ciphers are going really well right now as well, and it's just a matter of time before Food goes down, going second catapult, and does get it in time. Not quite going to be able to get the glider as it's still on cooldown, but Food is still just doing a very good job being able to avoid all of these statues.
And yeah, there's definitely starting to be a problem here, as we are going to get an attack here. It's good for the Sculptor, but we do have a Toy Merchant with multiple catapults set up. Catapult cooldown is up now. The Toy Merchant can take a catapult here whenever they get back to one. So I Eat Food really badly needs to just manage one more rotation here. Doesn't have a kiting ability here, but Warp comes out. I Eat Food knows the problems here, but you can get to the window. That Warp got them almost nothing, but it gets them to the window, and it gets the chip, and that was very risky by the Sculptor, but it pays off as Rocket comes in as Toy Merchant. It actually gets dropped, well timed by the Sculptor here, as almost got absolutely blundered there, as it would have been a Toy Merchant back to the catapult, and it would have been an absolute nightmare, but managed to get the drop in time. Solid attempt by the survivors as Toy Merchant goes on first chair. 2 ciphers done, 1 at 90.
Yeah, that was a very good attempt from Clown there, and is going to just take the free rescue breaking the catapult, is going to get a very good body block as well. The bloody block, and is going to use.
Oh,
Oh, that was a very good statue from the sculptor there. The Weeping Clown was going to attempt to use the rocket to get
nice flag.
the toy merchant to a better area, but was unfortunately not able to do that. And now they have to send in their coordinator for the next rescue.
And yeah, nice flywheel there by the clown to get out. And if that sculpture didn't hit, that could have been absolute disaster here. As first chip onto Cord. Cord does have gun, does have tide, so just looking to get this rescued. Again, we're buying time here as another chip onto the coordinator. There is not a guaranteed path to rescue anymore with the basic attack getting it down here as Mechanic working on some decoding. And again, this is still possible, but Toy Merchant might just be sold at this point as that second chip on coordinator. Really, really fortunate for the sculptor here as now coordinator going to be the next chase target here. Currently 1/4 HP remaining, so one more chip would down Cord or Clown as Mechanic at full HP, still working with the bot as well as trying to check on all of these ciphers. Sculptor needs to figure out where to go next as the kite is going to be on to the Mechanic now as we'll see it how this is going to go as again Sculptor really needs to keep this tempo going, needs to figure out a way to get this second and potentially third kill for the sake of the series. Is working on this for the moment. Warp gonna go back on over toward the Clown here as Clown does have one rocket to work with, is gonna get spotted out as well running across the way here. So Sculptor, we'll see if they go for anything, is going to go ahead and use the chisel here, but the Clown comes out and actually gets hit by it. It's gonna be a down here as a nice statue comes out. Coordinator potentially in the area though, gonna might look for a gun here, but backing away for the moment. 3/4 HP, can just wait out and come for the save after.
Yeah, the Mechanic did actually end up healing the coordinator with bot there. The ciphers are really good right now, both near to being finished. The bot is going to go down here though. Oh no, the Mechanic's actually able to move the
There's no
bot in
juice
time
on it
and
anyways.
yeah, it's almost dead anyways. But Cord is here.
Oh no.
Will need Cord will absolutely have to use the gun here in order to sort of get that rescue. Bot is sort of just standing there and is finally going to just go down. And now the sculptor has the exact position of the Mechanic, and it kind of looks like they're just going to pressure the ciphers.
And yeah, again, the survivors, they know that getting a tie here is still very stable when it comes to the series, so they have no problem just working on decoding. Borrowed time on all three players, so if they can pop one, prime another, they have a lot of things they can do here. As Close Cypher going to get popped, Cord going to go in, Rhyme on the Cypher, now Cord still has a gun. They can pop this last Cypher, get a rescue and gun here with Tide as gun comes out. Now the rescue, Tide popped here as a 2 kill, still very likely. We'll see if they can stretch this into a third as Coordinator didn't get hit here. Neither of them have been hit, so Sculptor still just needs to get one normal down piece of damage here, 2 chips or a hit or any combination therein. Is Eric or Eve gonna get hit by the first chip? I don't know where I read Eric on my screen. The accent throwing me off. And it will be the coordinator trying to kite around the walls here, just buying time where they can. Still no pressure on doors. First door is gonna get hit here as Cord doesn't have a kiting ability left, no flywheel or anything of the sorts. As down comes out here. Now we're gonna be looking at this back gate 233S on the Clown. Gonna dodge that chip there as both doors being pressured now. Is warp available for the Hunter as no trump card, but gonna need to figure out how to try and get this second escape here for the survivors.
Yeah, the door has been left by the Weeping Clown, and that's actually going to buy a time as she's going to probably try and pressure that door. The second door is now open, and it kind of looks like Weeping was heading for the dungeon.
And yeah, again, a 2-piece here is going to make this still a very difficult series for the 637 crew, and we have to be using warp to get to that far gate right now, and that's probably not enough distance. We'll see if they can pull them back, but if this Clown gets out, the series isn't over, but this is going to be an absolute nightmare for 637. They now must win round 4, win round 5, and do so by at least 8 points.
Yeah, it's a guaranteed round 4 now, ladies. 637 did a really good job pulling it back with that sculptor. A tie was all that they needed, and a tie was what they got. Um, that was an incredible job from the hunter there. Um, yeah, they did everything that they could, and it ended up being a 4-4 point out for each team.
As yeah, definitely going to be a dangerous one as we move onward. Chess, they are looking down the path to victory. 637 looking down the barrel of a loaded gun right now, and it is going to take a lot of effort for them to find their way out.
Yeah, both teams are doing an incredible job at the moment. Though it is still only a one more set win for chess players, we do have to keep that in mind. 637 absolutely have to win these next two sets. They cannot let chess players keep up their momentum. They did. Yeah, it's still a very close set. Any set could be match point if just chess player wins it. They are still ahead of the game, and yeah, I'm losing brain cells, but it's fine.
As yeah, we'll see onward as we'll clarify up how everything works for round number 4, and then we'll get things underway. And again, it is starting to become quite a problem for 637 with 2 round losses and a round tie. It is going to be moving forward here. As again, the global ban list has been completed. The CC Survivor team, no access to Antiquarian, Gravekeeper, Puppeteer, Priestess, Forward, Aeroplanist, Mechanic, Clown, Toy Merchant, the Hunter in that matchup, no Goatman, Opera, or Sculptor. The 637 survivors, no access anymore to Puppeteer, Novelist, First Officer, Priestess, Embalmer, Nightfire Investigator, Psycho, Forward, and the Hunter there. No Goatman, Disciple, or the Breaking Wheel. That will be the global ban list for the rest of the series. It will not grow, shrink, or change as we will move onwards through round 4, potentially round 5, and still potentially in overtime with that of bans. Is definitely going to be concerning. Oh. How does the global ban? Okay, well, if we get to the point where the global bans might change, we'll get clarifications on that.
We were just spoken to by the man, the myth, the legend, who you all cannot hear and name him. No, but we're just waiting for the players to get into the lobby as well as the what's it? The map picks and stuff like that. No subs at the moment. Ever Sleeping in Lakeside are banned for round 4, and we are just waiting to see who the picks are.
Yeah, we will move on as, of course, it will be Ever Sleeping and Lakeside unavailable for this round as we'll move in here as, again, it is pretty favored for the CC side right now. Obviously, still ways for 637 to figure it out, but looking back at the maps, again, no Ever Sleeping, no Lakeside. Any other predictions onto what we might see picked or banned?
Yeah, sorry, I don't know what's going on with my mind right now. I just woke up before the set started. Hi chat. I'm just gonna focus on chat. Hi chat. No, but we're still just waiting for the map as well as the map picks and map bans from both teams here. Still waiting for both teams to pop into the lobby. It's a lot of waiting right now. It is a lot of waiting right now.
Yeah, so we're having some clarifications on the rules for the players while we wait the map ban from 637. So it is currently 17-9 favored for the side of the chess players. They do, of course, lead 2-0 in round wins. Of course, the one tie not really counting for much, but we'll wait for that map ban from 637. No Ever Sleeping, no Lakeside, still a lot of places they could go. We could see a Darkwoods angle here, as it will be the ban from 637 and then the map selection from chess players who, again, at this point, only need to tie to win the series. So 637 need to start figuring out their game plan here, as we'll await this map ban. Again, just giving them a little bit of time to finalize everything up, double check what picks they have left, and try and figure out what map they want to play, considering, as again, a lot of big character names taken off the table. Puppeteer gone for both teams, Priestess gone for both teams, and a whole lot of other characters split across the teams and the global bans. As we'll wait for the finalization on everything, and we'll be available with our map selection hopefully pretty soon as 637 look to make their ban.
Yeah, it's going to be a very exciting round, honestly. Because a lot of these more meta characters are now off the table. And now we just have to wait to see kind of who these players decide that they all want to bring out. It's going to be very interesting. We may see very, very not meta picks, especially from the hunter side.
Oh, just to wait. There we go, Moonlit ban.
Moonlight River Park ban. Or should I say now, Moon River Park ban. I am so upset when they change names like that, because it's kind of just, why?
Yeah, it just doesn't feel like it's something we needed to happen, but...
Yeah, I don't think Moonlit River Park was a bad name. If anything, it made the park sound more like fantasy, you know? It made it sound way better. Like, oh, I want to go to a Moonlit River Park. Yes, let's go. But it's a Moon River Park? No.
Now you're going to a river park on the moon.
On the moon. And nobody wants to go to the moon. Are you kidding?
With the first climb of that roller coaster, maybe the gravity is aligned with the moon, and we are going to get our map selections here. Moonlit ban coming out from 637, and then chess, they're just gonna drag us right on back to Chinatown.
Oh, great. Thank you, chess players. And now we are just waiting for the players to hop into the lobby, and then we'll get started with round 4.
It is up to 637 for faction select. Again, at this point, doesn't matter all too much which faction you send first, as it will be a simple game of you have to win overall. Your hunter or your survivors have to do better than the opposition. Cannot go even anymore, as we'll see which way they are going to go with it, hunter or survivor first. Might just send the hunter first if they don't care all too much, or either way, definitely going to be potentially some strategy to it, but we'll see what they are going to send here, as we've definitely seen them start to get back in throughout the matches, as they played pretty well against that breaking wheel, and they are going to go ahead and send their survivors first once again.
Yeah, I do want to bring up that CC did actually do a really good job on Chinatown earlier with that, and so maybe they just want to end the set right now, and that's why we are going back to Chinatown at the moment. Maybe it's strategy. Maybe it's Maybelline.
Yeah, definitely is worth noting as well, due to the point that we're at when it comes to the overall score. If the chess player's hunter, who is playing first, is to pick up a 4-kill and grab the round 5-0 to start, the series ends on the spot, as the 637 crew would no longer have the ability to win the round. It would be 2 rounds win, 2 rounds lost, and at worst 2 rounds tied. So it would be a clean match closed up if we do see a 4K coming out from the hunter. So this game still has an incredibly high intensity to it here, as again, the side of the 637 crew need to win the overall round, but if they blunder in that stance and get 4K'd in this opening half, we could see the game end here in the next 5-10 minutes.
Yeah, Fafa needs to pull out a 3 or 4K in order just to end this. Or doesn't he just need a tie to end it right now?
A tie in this round would end the series, which getting a 4K would guarantee. If you get a 4K, the worst result is a tie, so if they are able to get that, they would win the series. As chess, they no longer need to win a round. If they win a round or tie a round, the series ends immediately, and the quickest way for them to do that would be for Fafa to kill out everyone here.
Yes. Fafa just needs to at least tie and or get a 4K to win this, and I think that's what Fafa might be going for here. Who do we think Fafa is going to play now that he no longer has Goatman, Disciple, and or Breaking Wheel?
There's definitely going to be a difficult decision here for him, as we'll see what that call is going to be. I think there's a lot of things that can figure it out on this map. Hermit obviously is a Chinatown classic, could always just go into something like the Gamekeeper and just try and stay stable, get 3 kills or so, and try and lock it away. It really does come down a lot to what the survivors leave open. Hullabaloo isn't global banned, Spider isn't global banned, and we see some of the things that have been banned in the past by the players, and there have been Hula bans, Opera bans, Spider bans, as we'll wait and see exactly what the decision is going to be here as we do get into round 4, half 1, what could technically be our final individual game of IDV, and what else to start it other than a Seer ban? Oh, no longer a Seer ban. They're stepping back.
No longer a Seer ban. Antiquarian.
Postman.
And Postman!
What are we playing where we need to ban Postman at the start?
Oh, Fafa. What are you gonna play, buddy? Opera Singer and probably Spider again. Yep. Opera Singer and Spider ban, so we no longer have access to that Opera or that Spider. That Postman ban, and they're immediately going to take the Seer now that he's open.
I mean, yeah, this is, Seer's open, you're round 4. Are you really going to see an available Seer and not lock him in here round 4? He has been banned every game. 3rd ban, 1st ban, 1st ban, 1st ban, 3rd ban, 1st ban, and then finally he's left open. Seer Acrobat for the survivors.
Yeah, I do definitely think that Fafa should have left the Postman open just a little bit long, ban him in spot 3, and we are going to see a Prospector ban. Who else bans Prospector? Could this be an Ivy?
I mean, it could be. I feel like in a stage where you just need to stay consistent with kills, that Ivy isn't the direction you'd want to go, but you look at what characters are left open, and it's definitely one of the ones on the table. I do have to note, Hulla is still open. Even if your Hulla isn't the best, there may be a world that you just ship him because he is so strong compared to what's available, but we'll see what that decision is going to be here. Obviously, these players aren't really the biggest Hullabaloo fans. As entomologists, we could be looking at a clown.
We could be looking at a clown. You are so right about that. Man, I'm still just thinking like all the possibilities, and we're seeing that magician again.
There he is.
That no permaban magician coming. Oh my god. This could be a clown.
He's been lurking through the entire set so far, and we'll see exactly what it is going to be. You can bait out Seer, Acro Bombs can be annoying, Mage Body Blocks can be annoying, but if Fafa has a clown in the pocket, this definitely could be one of the games that we see it, but we'll give the survivors a little bit of time to make their talents before so, but I think clown is definitely my leading option right now, but there is still Hermit, there is still Wax, there is still a couple of other options as well. Ivy, Hulla, there are a lot of things Fafa can go here, so Seer, Acro, Cord, Mage, we'll see what he wants to go.
Fafa ADV fan in chat said, I believe in Fafa Wu-Chang.
Surely not. Hell, I'm very holy.
Surely not. Chat is going crazy with these suspicious
These
We have
bans
someone
feel
for
too targeted to be something standard. Like, we're not banning Postman, Prospector, Entomologist to play Ivy. Surely not. I feel like we have to be
surely
looking
not.
at one of these niche picks. And again, I feel like for these characters, the most rational option for Fafa here is a clown. But again, we'll wait. The talents are officially locked in. Fafa, 20 seconds to inform us on what they're going to play. Is again, they banned Anti-Postman, Prospector, Ento. And yeah, it's just
You
gonna
were
be
right.
Clown.
Smiley face is here. We just saw a weeping clown and now we're seeing a smiley face.
And I mean, yeah, again, consider the state of the series. If Fafa picks up a kill on all 4 survivors, the series is over. Done in the books. The chess players are your Identity Premier Tournament champions. If he gets a 3k, then we're going to need a 4k from the Hunter for 637. And if it is anything less than a 3k, then again, the Hunter for 637 simply needs to outclass the performance by this clown. You have to start winning rounds, and while getting more and more points is good, they would love to be able to pick up a tie on the Survivor game and then a 4k on the Hunter game to make up for that 7-2 loss in round 2, which again, they need to worry about making up for the points. They can't just win the rounds. You can't win the round 6-3, 6-3. You need to get a little bit more, 5-3, 5-3, I suppose. You need to get a little bit more points. You have to make up for the gap that you're currently down, as again, we don't go to overtime unless we are dead even in round and points. Is a little bit more time here to finalize everything, and definitely going to be interesting as we see a couple of flywheels.
Yeah, we're seeing flywheel borrowed, flywheel borrowed on the Magician, flywheel knee-jerk on both the Seer and the Coordinator, flywheel, oh, we're seeing a lot of flywheel.
Yeah, I think looking
And
at the
once
band
again-
that they were faced with, they knew a clown was coming, and so they go flywheel, because, well, I think they knew a clown was coming.
Yeah, but once again, we're seeing Tide Turner. And that's what killed them on Chinatown the first time. They have no designated rescuer other than that Coordinator, so Coordinator should be running knee-jerk Tide if they want to go with a Sui build for that Cord.
Yeah, we'll see what it is going to be, as we do see a T-shaped spawn once again. Acrobat on the far east tile is going to be safe for the moment. Fafa near the Seer, near the Cord, Mage in mid, as we'll see exactly which way he's going to want to go. Don't really hate any of the options he has here, and while he doesn't know it right now, no Tide Turners await him, so he could potentially steal away some really early aggression and close the series out. 637 need to see at least an escape.
Yeah, they need to get at least one escape here in order not to completely let Fafa get the 5 points here, but the round is starting now, so it'll just be up to how Fafa plays here, and he's probably going to go straight for this Coordinator, which he is in fact doing. And Fafa, with some great controls here, immediately just turning around and is going to go straight for the Cord again with some great controls, going to break this pallet here, and is going to just immediately use the gun.
I was going to say, we're at a point where we just need to burn time. You want to transition back over to another corner of the map. I wouldn't be surprised if we take a hit or if we just gun, and it is going to be the gun. Coordinator assumes that they're going to get followed here. It looks like it is going to be the correct prediction here. Another rocket used now for the side of Fafa is going to pick up a couple more items on the way over. Double pallet thrown down here, as the Coordinator should have time with the window to make it over off to the other side of the loop, as Fafa is just running around in circles at this point. We'll see if he can get back over to this next pallet as Flywheel comes out, cancels the rocket, and it will be a refund of the items for the smiley face here, as we'll see Fafa moving on, but blink hit comes out. Coordinator not going to be able to dodge it, but he did get the blink for free. Insolence has procced this rocket to be available. Now we can use our ability without a propeller attached to it, as we are going to charge up here. Fafa going to try and win this mind game. We'll see which way he goes for it. He is going to try and spin back around and can't quite get it. Talent broken, as it will be Yudu trying to get back around with the Coordinator. Seer is watching. Careful for the Seer Owl. Seer Owl comes in. A nice fake swing by Fafa, though, as Yudu going to get away, but the Coordinator not in the safest position ever on pretty risky pallets right now.
Yeah, that was a very good owl from the Seer, but it was also a very good fake out there. Going
Oh
to
god,
break another
again.
pallet. You're doing a very good job just making sure that he stays alive as long as possible. And we've already got
Oh wow.
3 ciphers done, about to be a 4th, and we've got 2 more ciphers started. This is not looking good for the side of chess players here.
As, yeah, Coordinator gonna get thrown on the chair here. 3 ciphers done, 30% cumulative, as Fafa might greed for basement here, as he thinks he needs to get something back in his favor right now, as Coordinator struggling as much as they can. The chairs aren't in the best spot, but he still makes it there. Coordinator gonna get thrown in the basement here, as the Clown going to have a chance to try and grub some extra kills. And again, no tide turn or basement rescues are very, very dangerous, and I wouldn't be surprised if we just see the survivors sell the Coordinator, maybe go in once they have borrowed available, and try and just burn the rest of this game up.
I do want to say he made that without Giant Claw. I just checked his build. He doesn't have Giant Claw. So that's very impressive. That's just very impressive game sense, knowing that he would still make that anyways.
As, yeah, 80%, 50% on these ciphers. Numer is in the area. This is a borrowed time. It is the mage. As Coordinator has hit second half of the chair, so the next chair hit will kill, as Numer making the break in now. We do have to be careful of a fall hit here, or a drop hit, as Numer trying to move around as drop hit comes in and will get the second. No, flywheeled it, as now the rocket coming up, but the mage wand blocks it out there. Really beautifully done by Numer, but there's no tide turner. Mage goes down, tanks it for the Coordinator. Coordinator needs to run for dear life. 80% now done on this cipher. His Coordinator gonna get hit down. His own Honor comes in on the acrobat, gonna try and make something happen, but the Coordinator can get picked up. Mage does have borrowed time, so Mage will be able to get out of the basement with this borrowed time here, as the cipher insta-popped Mage sprinting away, and they do have 3 survivors up at prop, as we will have a 3-player endgame, as Honor gonna get hit by the rocket now, as again looking for a big result here. The survivors would love to secure at least a tie, but they'll definitely be thirsting for the 3 if they are able to make it. But Blink Detention comes out here, and it should be a pretty stable tie at this point. No rump card, no teleport, but we're gonna put on the rocket, and we are going to try and send it back to Umi here, as the door not open. 43% gonna try and get onto him. Doesn't get the first hit onto the Seer, but Seer able to stop him in the pallet, get the stun on the ending, as Numer sprinting across the map. Seer trying to figure something out. That's Umi not quite worked up toward another owl. A couple attachments gonna get put on here for the Clown, as Fafa trying to figure out the play here. Gonna chase up the stairs now, gonna try and get on, but it looked like he hit the wall there. Bit unfortunate for him, as the rescue on the backside of the map here. Seer now gonna be the player that potentially takes the fall here, as Umi gonna get terror shocked on this, as we'll see attachments put back on once again. Rocket might just try and send it to the far side of the map, and indeed he is. 50% on the door, hitting 60 now, as it is a race and speed here. 70, 75, 80 is Fafa on his way over. Numer does have wands available, gonna get the door open, then doesn't pop the wand in time. It will be the hit down. Numer gonna get grabbed up. Umi recovering his Honor, the sole player on their feet.
Yeah, very good job from Fafa there. Just what he needs to do. Seer is back up, but with the drill attachments, healing time is going to be a lot longer for both survivors. He's going to just go all the way back again for Umi, as he does have an idea where Umi is. He no longer has an idea of where Honor is, but he's going to go back, predicting that Honor is probably going to try and come in for the back door. Has tonight, as no Honor is here. Knows Honor is here now, and is going to probably spot out. Oh, we didn't see Honor!
Ooh, Honor gonna be able to pick himself up and get away for the moment. Honor gets behind a pallet here, now trying to make a play. Flywheel comes out, cancels the rocket. Items refunded as Fafa trying to figure out how to get this, as Honor holding on to these bombs for the moment, waiting out. Will be able to go over this pallet. Rocket comes out now, but it gets the hit. Honor holds for a little bit too long, as gate 1 open, gate 2 at 80. Seer Flywheels as the exit gate getting worked on now. Both doors are going to be open, but if you take a 1 escape, you are putting yourself in grave danger here, and that's what they do. Seer leaves, and while Fafa secures a 3k, it will still be life for the 637 crew, but their Hunter must now get a 4k. If they get a single escape, the series ends round 4.
Yeah, the survivors just need a tie in order to win the series right now. Is comes down this just being able to make sure that he put his survivors into a good position, and it all comes down to this.
And yeah, this is going to be an intense round. 637 with a lot of hunters banned away. They are going to need a 4K. They're going to have to kill every single person. And again, this is going to get pretty dangerous here, as again, it has to be basically perfection, at least for the moment, for 637. Is if they let a single player out, they go home with a silver and medal, and they certainly are trying to force round 5 here.
Yeah, they definitely do want to try and force 5, but I honestly, with the way that the survivors for Chester, it probably could just be a tie here on the side of both. Well, I guess on both sides. There's no telling actually right now who's gonna take this. Fafa did an incredible job getting that 3K, but now all that is needed from the survivors is a tie. And so that's what they're going to be playing for.
And yeah, I mean, again, you look at the current state of it, and 637, they have been on the burning hot seat since round 2 ended, and they were down 2-0. In round 3, they were able to clutch out a tie, but getting a 2K with that breaking wheel, and then a 2K with that sculptor, and that left us 4-4 tied in that round. But with a 3K coming out from the chess hunter, it has put them in a rough spot here, as we've seen a little bit of struggling come from this hunter in the past, and in the pure terms of not necessarily getting 4Ks every game, and it is going to be a requirement now.
Absolutely. This set has been absolutely wild so far. This definitely is a grand finale level set at the moment, and both teams are doing a really good job just pushing and pulling at each other, just making sure to keep the other in check. And it's been great.
And yeah, we do have an updated global ban list here. It is going to be on the chess survivors here: Antiquarian, Grave, Puppeteer, Priestess, Forward, Aeroplanist, Mechanic, Weeping Clown, Toy Merchant, alongside Goatman, Opera Singer, and Sculptor joining this matchup's ban list. So no Goat, no Opera, and while Sculptor not necessarily expected, we could see some pretty interesting bans here that are really going to limit what this hunter has.
Sorry, my dad walked in.
All good.
Yeah, everything you said, agreed. Yeah, we are just waiting for the players to ready up, and we are soon going to get into these picks and bans for what probably may be the final round, or the final match of the game.
And yeah, again, we need a 4K here from the 637 Hunter to continue our path on this series. As we'll see what the plays are going to be at this point. As we'll move in, we'll see what the bans are. Again, pretty extensive list of globally banned characters, but we'll wait and see exactly what is going to be allowed through for this game. Antiquarian, Postman, Prospector, Entomologist were last game's bans, and unless we're seeing a clown, I would certainly expect a different pace, and it is going to be Seer First Officer.
Yeah, definitely not going to be letting out Seer this time, and stop banning out the Hullabaloo and the Breaking Wheel. We may not see this hunter breaking at all today, and we are now going to see who the survivors are. We're going to see the first patient of the set, and we are just waiting for the next pick, which is going to be Embalmer. These are two very good Thai characters, especially on Chinatown here, and we are now just waiting to see who the next bands are.
Yeah, will be the Patient Embalmer picked up, of course. Definitely not the most unique with the Embalmer, but certainly a little bit out of the normal with this Patient, as we'll see what the Survivor team is trying to build around. Psycho, not really surprisingly, going to be taken away here. You see Patient, you are not allowing a third or fourth pick Psychologist, and we'll see how this draft is going to round up here. Still need 2 more Survivors to go here. Patient, Embalmer, definitely still looking for a rescue as well, and with the current list banned, they're definitely going to have to start to get a little bit creative at least.
Yeah, we are going to see a painter pick. Um, next from we're going to see a wildling. We're not letting that wildling out today. And we're going to see who the last pick is. It's going to be that mercenary, which is a very, very good pick. I've said it before, though it's been nerfed, his steel will is still extremely good. And so mercenary is still, well, not the best rescuer anymore, still a pretty solid pick.
And yeah, we'll see what it is going to be here for the survivors. They finalize their picks for their players. Is obviously have the 4 characters, but the way to get everything in order is will be Patient, Bomber, Painter, Merc, of course, again. And we'll move on to our talent selection here. Definitely expect the Mercenary on a Tide Turner. Potentially could see the Patient and or the Painter running it as well. And then we'll see it just how they want to round it up with the rest of their talents. Maybe some borrowed times, considering they really do just need a single escape here. And then on that other hand, the Hunter going to need to figure out what they want to play. Is there anything specific that you would have your eye on for this matchup?
I don't know. I would have loved to see that wheel come out from this Hunter, especially because it's been hyped up so much, but CC knows, and they've been banning that wheel since the beginning. Honestly, we might see a wax artist here. We could also probably see our here, just cause. But it does come down to what the players decide that they want to play.
As yeah, we will get our selection for talents finalized here as we'll move over. Patient and Bomber, Painter and Mercenary will be playing up against we'll give them a moment, 10 seconds to go here on deciding what this Hunter is going to be here for the 637 crew. Is cut down pretty significantly on the character pool, but they're gonna go in. It's gonna be a Geisha, and this is risky. Chinatown Geisha against a couple of stall characters, and you absolutely have to get a 4K. And again, it's risky. This is a risky pick here for this Geisha. If it doesn't get a 4K, the series is over and they will lose. But definitely at this point, you have to start looking at that next tier of Hunter, and you have to make a big risk. And Geisha certainly going to be at least possible to get a 4K. We'll allow them, of course, a little bit of time to set their talent tree, as well as we'll see exactly what they are going to want to go. Certainly have to bring a detention and a movement ability of sorts, whether we see teleport, the warp, or potentially even just a trump card, but we'll see exactly what this Geisha wants to go. As we move our way over to area selection, we will see 3 borrowed times for everybody but that in Bomber. In Bomber, running the flywheel knee-jerk, full Sui, Painter on borrowed time knee-jerk, Patient on the same borrowed time knee-jerk, and then of course, unsurprisingly, Mercenary, Tide Turner, borrowed time. Nothing too surprising, as we will see a pretty standard spawn selection as well, line across the middle with Mercenary top mid.
Yeah, these are pretty standard builds from all of the survivors here. I'm excited to see this Geisha. And we're gonna see her spawn top right, probably gonna go for that Patient, or maybe even book it from middle to go for the Bomber first. It's just a matter of time before we see who these characters are gonna play, or how these characters are gonna play, how these players are gonna play.
And yeah, again, once again, we do have to see a 4K from this Geisha. This could be our final match, and in 75% of the final outcomes, we do see the series end right now, as it will be a tough game, or actually 20%, not even 25, because we could technically see a 4 escape, but we'll see how the Geisha does. Again, you have to play conservative, you have to cover these ciphers, you cannot allow too many people to make it to the end game. You realistically need to kill 2 before you get to that end game point. Obviously, if you can do better, absolutely fantastic here for the Geisha, but we are ready, we are in, we are underway. Round 4, half 2, 637 facing the barrel of elimination and must kill everyone.
I do want to say, even the best of Geishas tend to only get ties, so I'm a little nervous for 637 here, purely because they did pick Geisha here, but this player could be a Geisha specialist, and I could just be wrong. but we are just gonna have to wait and see. And it does seem like we are going straight in the direction of the patient here, already getting tinnitus. Um, doesn't quite see where the patient is yet, though. They are running parallel to each other, which means that they are going to pretty soon here run into each other. Patient going upstairs and is going to be found. The coffin is on the floor, and is just going to dash straight to the patient.
As yeah, patient now working on these windows, gonna use that knee jerk to fly away. Hook could come in soon, as we'll see 233S just wait around, try and make this decision on which way they want to go, as Geisha almost gonna catch up to them, gets hit through the pallet as well, as patient can be a little bit too slow there and didn't make that use of the item and will get hit for it, as Geisha looking for a butterfly here, trying to figure out what they want to do, as patient is gonna use this hook just to get rotating counterclockwise, but a nice butterfly through this window will close that distance pretty quickly, as patient working on this window, 2 quick vaults, and he'll rotate around towards this round brush, as we'll see pallet drop here. Geisha blink hit comes through, patient goes down as the first down, 73, 50, and 60% on the ciphers, is definitely an acceptable pace here for both sides. Nobody too surprised by this. We see a blink down at a acceptable pace, and again, it will be I Eat Food's mercenary on the way over, but the survivors are really just happy with burning time, so I'd expect this mercenary to try and waste as much time as possible before rescuing, either right before the first half or even just letting him sit for a really long time and saving him right before death, but I'd certainly expect the just first half rescue.
Yeah, they can definitely afford to waste a little bit of time here, especially since they only need a tie. They are going to just sit here and let time go by, because all they need is a tie. The patient does get hit immediately off the chair and is going to go down again. It's not going to be getting a double down, though. It's not even going to try for the double down, as mercenary is still completely uninjured. We're seeing patient shaking his head no at the geisha, and he's going to go down again.
And yeah, we maybe could have seen him use that hook to try and deny that hit for presence, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. It's not max presence geisha yet, so it isn't really, again, that biggest a problem that we could have ever seen, as we will see the geisha come pressure towards this cipher machine, which is currently being armed by the embalmer, is moving around. Looks like they're just going to back away. They don't want to give up an early hit. Again, they want to let this patient sit on the chair for a bit. As third cipher is popped, we have another at 70%, and the one the embalmer was working just under 40 is the knee jerk, going to get embalmer a couple extra steps. Does have a flywheel to work with as well, as it will be a nice dodge there on the first swing, as Geisha moving back over to the chair here, as mercenary gonna come swap in to come get the save. Still has all of the elbow pads, and while they don't have the tide turner, they are going to get here in time. His first hit gonna come out onto the mercenary. Last second save on the patient here. Now we need to turn to the patient who has hooks. Patient, use the hooks, please. His mercenary is gonna get hit again. Really good body block on that butterfly. His patient is able to hold on to the hooks, as we need to see these items used before the patient goes down, is holding up continuously, just waiting, as first hook will be used, and we have to swap over to the mercenary. And again, Geisha needs a 4K. They have to kill everybody. They have the tension trump card, but with this last cipher churning, chess are looking down victory.
Yeah, this is kind of what I was worried about at the just not being able to just keep up, because Geisha as a character is not really a 4K character, but instead a tie character. That cipher is almost done. Patient is going to go down. They can just force heal it, though. They can't.
And yeah, we'll see if this is... Yeah, it is going to be the Terror Shock, but borrowed time available. Both of them are going to get picked up, and now we have a painting from the painter! Can't quite get the hit in time, as Geisha is going to be sent into a 4-player endgame here, as it's really, really risky for the Geisha now. Have to kill everybody. Your chess players are your IDV Premier Tournament champions, as Tummy has the flash or the blink available, is trying to figure something out here, working toward this patient. 30% on the door. They need a single escape to tie the round to win the series. Patient going to get caught here, but no, he gets around it. No hooks left now, as he's going to get over to it. Going to dodge the pallet, drops it down. 80% on the door. They just need to pop it and get the hell out of here, and it will be the door open now, as all 3 players over there can escape. And not only do they get the escape, they get not 2, but they get 3 here, as we'll see if they ego for anything. But no, it will be a 3 escape. It will be a pretty even round here. They tie things up, and it will be a 2-round victory, as chess players have locked it away.
Congratulations to chess players for winning the entire series, and great job to 637 for making it this far. Everybody did incredible, but that is going to be the end of the tournament.
And yeah, really, really strong performances. The dominant team shows out here, and they close it away in very, very fancy 6-2 style once again here, and that will lock it away, and they will take this set. Again, 3 wins in their favor. Really well played, and while they started things out well, they got the advantage in that GOAT game, and they pulled out a big win with the On. At the end of the day, they worked through the later depths of their character pools, and with the Clown and with that final set of survivors, they lock it away. Patient, Bomber, Painter, Merc, and the Clown to pick up the last win.
Yeah, it was a very good job from CC there. Very, very clearly showing how dominant they were just in this entire tournament and showing why they deserved to win today. Congratulations again to this team. It was a beautiful set to be able to watch.
As, yeah, the chess players are definitely very, very solid. They have proved it throughout the tournament. They beat Eclipse Empire 16-2, Team Watt 16-2, Iron Thorns 13-5, CNCE 13-4, and then finally here in the finals, if my math is right, 23-11, 6-3, 7-2, 4-4, 6-2. They walk away the champions here, almost doubling the opposition's points. 3-round wins and a tie, and chess players take it all in the end.
They have brought it home. Everybody in chat is going absolutely.
Yeah, we are going to pull in here. We're going to have a chat with one of the chess players, performers here, AWIW, going to be getting pulled in here in a moment, as we'll give a moment to get them in. Oh, there they are. Welcome. How is it going?
Hello. Nice to be here. It's going well. My team's very happy about the win.
As you should be. You guys earned it.
Thank you. Thank you.
And yeah, so I want to may as well just start overall with the very beginning, before your round of 32 match, signing up for the competition, getting everything ready to go at the start. Is this where you expected to be a month later?
Honestly, yeah, I figured that if we're gonna play in a competition, we're gonna do it to win. So that was my goal from the very beginning. Yeah.
And yeah, I am definitely curious as well. Obviously, today you guys had some great games, just consistently outperforming in these tiny numbers, getting an extra kill with the Goat Man, extra kills in round 2. But today, what would you say your least confident moment was? Was there any point in today's series where you were kind of concerned with the pace of how things were going?
That's a good question. I feel like obviously with round 1 it's always a bit nerve-wracking, just because I am familiar with 637's Hunter. I know that they have a very large arsenal of characters to choose from, especially because it was Ever Sleeping Town. So with the team comp, we really wanted to be mindful of like his Breaking Wheel, for example. I know that said, I believe that's the hunter's name. He is a like first Breaking Wheel. So we were just trying to be mindful of countering not just Goatman and Hula Baloo, but also Breaking Wheel. I think round 1's always the most nerve-wracking, but we pretty much like carried from there. So yeah.
And then, yeah, obviously, one of the characters he brought up there, Hula, being not really present. Realistically, I don't think we've seen that much Hula since the quarters, maybe the semifinals. Is he just not something that the teams you think are worth playing anymore? Did the nerfs hit him too hard, or what do you think is at least your team's philosophy on it?
I feel like with Hula Baloo, he's still a very good hunter. I just think he's less stable and requires more skill. I feel like in my head, he's similar to Ivy's position in the meta, where with Ivy, you have to be very masterful with her to actually use her in tournament. The thing is, what my team did is, because we do have a good understanding of the other team's hunter, we target banned. So what we did was they picked Ever Sleeping, and so we wanted him to kind of be forced to not play his wheel, and we did let out his Hula Baloo in some games, but in the end we just target banned him after round 3, I believe.
I say, yeah, that was going to be one of my other follow-ups. Is obviously we were talking about it being one of the wheel being a bit of a concerning pick, and were you guys concerned at all in that second round when you did on Chinatown just ban the wheel, or was that something that you would rather play against something like that Hula as opposed to that wheel?
I think the difference with wheel and opera is the builds we use. So, for example, with wheel, you want to bring flywheel. Meanwhile,
Yeah.
with opera singer, you want to bring broken windows. So, what we wanted to do was target it more towards broken windows team comp, because we also do know that this hunter has a really good sculptor. So, what we were trying to do is just push the hunter to play characters we would be more comfortable, I guess, build wise with.
Anything you want to ask, Grayscale?
I was thinking about questions. Where do you think the turning point was for your guys' victory? Because it was pretty even out throughout that entire set. So where do you think you kind of realized you had the advantage?
Honestly, I would say like once Fafa got that first round 4K, he did an amazing job. Really, like I was blown away with Fafa's performance, even with the Anne performance in second round. It was amazing. Like he had really good mind games. So I think probably second round Anne game where he managed to get a 4K was our turning point, because truthfully, like once we had those 2 wins in our in our basket, it was probably going to be very hard for 637 to make a comeback, especially because when there's only like one hunter, character pools become often limited. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
What is there? Won't hold you for too long, but is there anything else that you want to throw out there? Any shout outs, thoughts, anything of the
Yes,
sort?
I have so many shout outs I'd like to throw out actually.
You deserve it.
Okay, first is Fafa's like Twitch streamer fans and his server and everything. They've been super supportive throughout this entire tournament. I see them constantly in the live stream chat. They're always being very nice, and they're also being very supportive of the other team that Fafa's team is always going against. So I just want to say thank you to them for always being there and being a presence. My second shout out is for JB fan number 1, JB fan number 2, because I feel like that has inspired the entire team to also really embrace Just Better as the person he is, rather than for the ego he has. I think that's all though. Yes, thank you.
Alrighty, well, of course, congratulations on your overall victory. Obviously, some pretty dominant performances. You guys end up almost doubling your opponent's score in every game. Obviously, some of the earlier matches were a little bit more one-sided, but for the champion team, I suppose in the round of 32, that's maybe to be expected. But still, here in the finals, 23-11 final score, if my math is right. And just well played overall, and congratulations on your guys' win.
Yeah,
Thank you
congratulations.
so much. Thank you for hosting this tournament. It's really wonderful, and thank you for being commentators as well.
Yeah, definitely, I appreciate it. Well, that was definitely a very fun and exhilarating final day here in the IDV tournament. Anything else on the day, Grayscale?
No, not that I'm aware of.
Well, thank you everybody for joining us, not just today, not just in the semis or in the matches before, but this entire competition have had great support. Thank you everybody for joining us in the chat and supporting all of our fantastic teams from here in the finals all the way back to some of our preliminary rounds back before we had our top 32. But for us here at the IDV Premier Tournament, that will be it for us. Chess players walk away the champions 637, and in second, still very solid performance considering, again, over 32 teams at the start. But that will be it for us today and for this event. Be sure to keep an eye out on any announcements for any potential upcoming events in or out of the IDV Premier Tournament. But for us today, for this tournament, that will be it. Thank you all for joining us, and hope to see you again next time.
Thank you, guys.
Great.